Hello. My name is Joe Trier, and welcome back to the Frozen North. When last we saw our heroes, they had passed the Frost Maiden's 4 challenges and successfully gained the Codicil of White, an ancient manuscript which details how the Frost Maiden was raised from the dead and why she has locked Icewind Dale under her spell. The heroes barely escaped with their lives and journeyed in Elijah the Kobold's airship back to 10 Towns. The last scene involved Kestra contacting the mysterious wizard Avarice, who has asked her to journey to Caer Dineval and bring along Graham, whose brush with death has linked him with a powerful entity known as Levistus. Each of you are going to have around 24 hours in 10 Towns before you head off to the Reghed Glacier to crack it open and try and find your way into the mysterious underground city. So while we're doing the sort of side quest with Virginia and Kuran, have a think, Owen and Niall, what you want to do and how you're going to use that 24 hours. But let us start with Kestra. So Kestra, Virginia, welcome back to the show. You have been dropped off outside the frozen town of Bryn Shander. What do you wish to do? Do you want to head straight to Caer Dineval? Do you want to do something in the town first? How do you want to approach this?
I think for Kestra, she probably just want to get going. She wants to get there, get her payment, find out a little bit more about what's happening. And obviously she has to get Graham along with her too. So the quicker they leave, the quicker they get there, and she can she's also curious about what's going on there because she's never been to the castle.
Fantastic.
She's only spoken to Avarice kind of outside of it. So getting a look in at this totally not shady cult thing going on there.
Okay, so it's a 10.5-hour journey if you're going to walk. Caer Dineval is the sort of northeast, the far northeast of 10 Towns. It's sort of in the shadow of Kelvin's Cairn, which is the huge mountain. You can hire dogs, like sled dogs. You might even be able to hire axe beaks as well. And we need to bring Graham into this too. Thank you so much to Squire for subscribing. So let's start the scene as the two of you exit the ship. And Elijah sort of waves it and goes, right, I need to sort out this airship. There's no way that I'm going to travel all the way to the Reghed Glacier with it as big as this. We need to expand it, and I need to check in on the supplies. Be back here this time tomorrow. I'll see you all soon. And he sort of lowers down a ladder, and you all sort of clamber down.
In my right D&D edition, he's going for basically. He's not the exhibit.
So, Kestra and Graham, are you heading off together?
Yeah, I would imagine so. All right, so we're making our way to 10 Towns?
So you're already at 10 Towns. So Bryn Shander is, I know we've not played for a couple of weeks. Bryn Shander is like the capital city, or certainly the main city within 10 Towns, and you've been dropped outside of it.
Okay, yeah, we need to go to Bryn Shander.
So Caer Dineval is where Kestra is heading.
Caer Dineval. Why are we going to Caer Dineval?
I think
let's play out that scene.
Yeah, I think Kestra kind of, as everyone splits up, she heads over to Graham as, I don't know, he's trying to get the dragon off the airship, I imagine. Like trying to get a dog to go out for the war.
I'm sort of coiled in this boa constrictor kind of silver dragon worm. Yeah.
She waits till everyone off is like busy saying goodbye to Elijah or like getting stuff off the ship, and kind of gently grabs Graham by the arm and walks him a little bit further away. You need to come with me. We're going to be heading up to the castle.
The castle? Is this?
I don't really know, but if I tell you that the prince in the ice wants to talk to you, does that make sense?
I knew that was going to come back to bite me. Yeah, okay, let's... I think I'll... Yeah, let's go. Let's go to the castle.
My employer wants to talk to you.
Your employer? Is there... Never mind. I'm sure I'm going to get some answers. Let's...
She just kind of smiles.
Graham's petting his dragon, which is called Reginald, and he can speak. He's just very quiet.
No, and I've said I am not role-playing Reginald. I have far too many NPCs to handle, so I've handed that over to Kuran.
Yeah.
Okay, so you head into Bryn Shander in search of transport, and the town is a ruin. There are refugees filling every building to capacity. There are long queues of people out anywhere that serves food or hot drinks, and the genuine feeling you have is of complete desperate misery. However, you do find a family that are selling sled dogs and their sled, and they demand a ridiculous price. But you soon find your way heading northeast towards Caer Dineval. Wrapped in furs, Kestra, this is... you're not immune to cold, are you? You're a red tiefling.
I'm not immune to cold, but I have cold resistance because I'm currently carrying the codicil.
So the two of you strike out into the blizzard with the blessing that you've received from the Prince of Darkness of the 5th level of the 9 Hells, and you carrying the codicil, Kestra. You fly through the blizzards without any problems, and around 5 hours later, you arrive outside Caer Dineval. Now, this town is on the edge of civilization, and Kestra, when you visited here previously, you've known it to be far less busy than any of the bigger towns. However, even from a distance, you realize something has changed. There are no wafts of smoke from any of the buildings. There's no sign of footprints on any of the roads or pathways, or even outside the steps of each of the houses. Snow is piled high throughout the town, and in fact you find that you have to leave your sleds and dogs outside and strike out through the snow-covered buildings. When you've been here previously, when you've met Avarice, you've not headed towards the castle, which sits on a hill above the town and gives the town its name, Caer. And you've never visited there. You've always met her in the inn, which I'll just check the name of. But this building as well, so it's called Dinev's Rest. Dinev was the family that built the castle many generations ago. When you approach, there is a wisp of smoke coming from the chimney, and the door is ajar. You see numerous footsteps, probably recent, going out from the inn and heading towards the castle.
I think Kestra has a moment when they arrive and looks at Graham. Well, this is quieter than it was the last time I was here. And the smoke's coming from the inn, right?
Only from the inn. All the houses around you seem completely deserted. In fact, in the distance, you can hear one door kind of banging in the wind.
I mean, this feels quite ominous, Kestra, I'm not going to lie.
Well, it is a town with a castle, and the last time I was here, creepy, shadowy cult was around, so...
Okay,
let's just head to the inn and see. There's smoke coming from there. If there's no one there, we can head straight to the castle, but that's where I've always met Avarice before.
Yeah. Okay.
On that note, I may have lied about how I found you folks back before all of this.
I mean, I figured as much. I want to get the full story, I think. Yeah. I'm sure that'll be explained.
And I guess they both set off towards the inn. Kestra's cautious if the door is kind of open and it's the only thing that seems busy around.
Okay, so you approach the inn, and it's a large 2-story building, and there is smoke wafting up the top. And as you get closer, you do notice that the smoke is looking thicker. The door is ajar, and it's a little kind of like footway, only maybe 5 foot square. Maybe a sort of an anteroom, maybe where you could sort of leave coats or things like that, although unlikely in 10 towns. And you push your way into the common room proper. There are at least a dozen people here, all dressed in black armor and wrapped in thick fur-lined cloaks, I should say.
Mhm.
To one corner, you notice an ice-white tiefling sat at a table with a foaming mug of beer. She is flanked on either side by 2 stone gargoyles who stare out into the room, and she notices you as she enter and raises her hand to you, Kestra.
And Kestra will nod back, pull the hood back down off of, her cloaks and her traveling robes now that they're into kind of something, an area that's warmer, and just kind of nudge Graham and go, "That's Avarice in the corner."
Oh.
And Kestra will, if there is somebody serving at the tavern bar, she will go and get herself a cup of something hot on her way to that table.
So there are 3 black armored, I guess, soldiers, 2 male, 1 female, behind the bar, helping themselves to the various brews and beverages to be found there. One of them has broken open a barrel and is helping himself.
Mhm.
As you take a step into the room, a large figure who's facing the fire turns around, and you see he's another red-skinned tiefling, similar looking to Kestra in a way, but much larger, his skin much darker, and his eyes burning with a blue-white light. And he looks at you both, half ignoring Kestra, and focuses on you, Graham, and goes, "You finally made it then. Oh, it's good to see you. My name is Kadroth, leader of the Knights of the Black Sword."
Do I know?
And,
I do know you.
I believe we share a patron.
Yeah. I mean, I saw you vaguely from the sky when I was flying over you. Hi.
He looks a bit puzzled when you say that.
Oh, no worries.
Well, my master wishes to speak to you. He came to me last night in a dream, and he said that a champion was coming. One who would be able to break open the Lord in the Ice for once and for all, and help our cause. Come,
Absolutely, yeah. That's me. You caught me. I'm the champion. So, who do I talk to? Like, where are you taking me? What's going on?
Come. He puts his arm around you and begins to lead you out of the inn. And he sort of clicks his fingers above his head. Everybody, come on. We have a successful plot to pursue. Leave those drinks. Come on.
So I'm like, at this point, I'm a bit shocked that almost everybody in the pub is all part of this cult. I'm like, whoa. Everybody was on. I'm the champion of these. Yeah, that's me. Cool, Kestra. And I'm just calling back as I'm being pushed forward. Kestra.
Kestra is in the middle of picking up one of the drinks that is put down, because unless Avarice is getting up, she's not going to follow, because her business.
No, Avarice is not getting up at all. She's looking sort of disdainfully at the black-robed cultist.
Kestra picks up the drink and just raises the glass to Graham. No, good. Go up.
Yeah. Okay.
So Kadroth puts his arm around you, and you realise he's like 1.5 feet taller than you. And although his paunch is huge and there's a lot more fat than muscle, or at least evident, his arm feels heavy across your shoulders. And as you leave the inn, you are surrounded by these 12 black armoured figures. And can you give me a perception roll as you're sort of led away from Kestra in the inn?
Yeah. One moment. I'm just trying to remember what my perception is. I think it's 0.
That's not true. Not as
always helpful.
Not.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it's a good old fashioned not 0. No bonus. So I got 14.
You're kind of glancing here and there, and one of the cultists, as he walks by you, has a chain round his neck, and the symbol on the end is that of a black sword. But what's remarkable about it is it's made of chardolin, the black ice that possess those of East Haven.
Ram, we're getting double up down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
brief technical difficulties in my ears.
Yeah, so Aram, I don't know if you can hear us, but we're getting echoes.
Sorry about that. Should be
fixed.
okay.
Fantastic.
Cheers.
Okay,
Yeah,
Kestra
so it's made of black charlatan. Yeah.
is made of chatelaine, yeah.
Ooh.
Kestra, you are beckoned over by Avarice, who sort of raises a glass and beckons you to sit down in front of her. The two gargoyles blink and sort of move slowly like you'd expect from creatures made of stone.
Kestra goes ahead and takes the drink that she's, picked up that somebody else has put down from the bar and makes her way over. And she sits opposite Avarice, as close to the fire as she can get. She does not like the cold. Puts the drink on the table and kind of sits back in the chair. Oh, that was interesting.
I wouldn't pay too much mind to them when he gets a thought in his head, whether it's one of his crazy dreams or something else. He has a tendency to get a bit carried away. However, this time, he seems to be far more certain than any other time before. I think he may really have been contacted by the Lord of Ice, or at least something.
Well, Graham did come back from the dead, or so it seems.
Well, that is interesting. And am I right in saying you were successful in your mission? And she reaches below the table and pulls out a black velvet bag and places it on the table in front of her, although still slightly nearer her than it is near you.
Oh, I do like somebody who shows the payment up front, she says. She kind of puts her hands on the table, and then she reaches down into the kind of side pouch that she's carrying, and pulls out the Coda-Kill and just puts it down in front of her, closer to her still, puts her hand on top of it. We got it. Almost died trying, I might add. But it is yours if you would want it. And she slides it across the table, leans back and takes a sip out of her drink.
You're willing to part with such an artifact? I mean, this bauble is powerful indeed and was very difficult to come by, but it is not a genuine Frost Maiden's book. But if you're willing to swap?
Well, you wanted the Coda-Kill. That's what you hired me for, wasn't it?
Well, what I was really looking for was an entrance into the underground city of Eoghan, that lost city of ancient Netheril, which holds what I'm really looking for. And I understand that this artifact, this Coda-Kill, holds the way in. Am I right?
That it does. I believe there's a spell or an incantation that's supposed to crack open the glacier.
Well, how about this? How about you keep hold of it? And she places her fingers together, almost in prayer, and leans forward to you. Honesty, a sheen across her face. How about
Kestra leans in too and does the same thing.
You break open that glacier for us. You find the way to Eoghan, as we discussed. We might be some way behind, and if you find any artifacts, anything of value, maybe we'll deal again. I don't want to break a previous agreement, although, and you can see for a moment there is hunger in her eyes. And can you make me an insight check?
Yeah. Where is my insight on here? Oh. It's a 10.
She's holding something back, and it's almost like she's saying something she either doesn't believe or doesn't agree with. There's definitely a hunger for the Coda-Kill. Like, she really wants to just reach over and grab it, you get the impression.
Kestra doesn't make a move to pull the Coda-Kill back, and she stays leaned in with her fingers interlocked as well. And she smiles, this big grin. Now, I feel like there's something you're not telling me, which is fine. But I'm somebody who works for hire. Right now, you're the one paying me, so that's where my loyalties are. So if there's another story here, if there's something else that you want, I can help you get it. And she flashes another big grin. It's that hot, it's the You're paying me. Whatever you want, I can get it. You just have to tell me what it is.
Avarice rolls down the velvet bag, and inside is a gleaming obsidian statue, that of a steed, sort of raised with its hooves in the air. This is what you were looking for. This will summon a creature of hell, a nightmare steed under your control. But beware, it has limited power, can only be summoned once a day. So be careful. I have more payments if you could do me a final favor. Once you're within Ithrin, if you manage to find the way, I need you to find this. She reaches down and pulls out an ancient book and flicks through its thick pages until you see a fiery ball painted in elaborate color. This is a mythalar. Do you know what a mythalar is?
I can't say that I do. Enlighten me.
These were artifacts of ancient Netheril, created before Mistra, or Mistril, the goddess of magic as she was at the time, disallowed 10th level magic, and that kept it for the gods only. These artifacts could, well, levitate cities, recharge magic items. They could even change the weather. In our current situation, she points out through the window, you can imagine how useful that might be.
Oh, I can. I'm no fan of the cold. She kind of laughs because she assumes that neither is Avarice with both of their heritages.
Well, Avarice is ice white, so her heritage is different from yours, although she is a tiefling. And she says, if you can find your way with your capable companions into this underground city, locate this mythalar, find a way to contact me. You may need my help in activating it. But if not, activating would bring me everything I need. And again, she sort of looks to the side again as if she's not telling you the whole story.
And I think Kestra nods, but she still doesn't touch anything on the table. There's something else. I'll do that. I'll crack open the glacier. I'll find this artifact for you. There's something else that you want. I'm in the business of getting people the things that they want.
She smiles.
Can I see if I can try and charm her into telling me?
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to give me a social roll? It wouldn't be intimidate, unless you want to do it that way.
Can I go for persuasion? She's trying to do the thing of like, if you just tell me, I can get it. I really can get it. Like I've just brought this thing to you that you want.
No, for sure. Give me that roll.
Plus 1 second. I think I have a thing. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's 15.
He says, Netheril, or the civilization of Netheril, were known for hoarding secrets and artifacts. I'm not really willing to tell you what else I'm after, but the mythalar is something we can both agree would aid everybody. And finding it would be maybe a joint quest, something that would be useful, mutually useful.
If I can, then I'll make sure that any artifacts that are down there perhaps come back with me for you.
There will be a fine price paid for anything you can find.
Well then, I will take the codicil and my payments, and I will get you everything else that you need.
Fantastic. So if you want to look on D&D Beyond, this is a figurine of wondrous power. You can check the rules for that.
Awesome.
Kuran, Graham, you are led with this sort of flanax, this of guards up this
And
winding
I'm wrapped in a
path.
dragon.
Wrapped in a dragon.
And I've got no top on because I'm like, the cold means nothing.
You're basically Lady Gaga right now.
Yeah. Exactly. I've got a dress made of meat.
Sounds right.
Let's go.
And the tiefling's like, I really like your style. I mean, gosh. And you're led through
this
the
whole thing?
gates, which open before you to reveal a black dragon made of chardalin, damaged and broken from its battle with you and yours many days, many weeks ago at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
But as you enter, it lifts its head. Its pieces creaking against each other as it does so, and it faces you with these burning eyes as if it recognizes you. Don't mind that. That creature joined our cause a while ago, more than a 10-day, but it fights for us, the Knights of the Black Sword. Come, don't mind it. It won't
Are you
attack.
sure? Are you like, and I'm flinching like every time the dragon makes any slight like blinks. I'm like, whoa. What's it?
It kind of raises its neck and its head high as you pass, and you kind of have this memory of the radiant burning light that's pierced you not that long ago in your battle with it. But this is where it ended up.
Oof. Yep. You're not going to turn it like that, are you, Reginald? No, I won't. That's the sound of a silver dragon, apparently.
Come. Mm-hmm. And he leads you to a corner, one of the corner towers, where there is a trapdoor in the floor. Opening up, it leads a thin flight of staircase going down into darkness, which eventually leads you through darkened passages into a room. A strange room, 15 foot square roughly. In the center is a pillar of ice. Chained to it is an effigy. The back of the room is covered in brown mold where the cold is emanating from. And Kadroth goes, I dare not enter.
You dare? Why?
Kneel before the symbol of our Lord, and I have been promised he will contact you.
Okay. So he's saying that I should kneel? You want me to kneel?
Enter the room. I wouldn't take your dragon in. I fear for its life.
Oh, okay. All right, Reginald, you can stay out here with and I look up at this guy. He's it'll be all right. Oh, actually, no. Go find Kestra. She'll look after you. It's fine. Don't worry about me.
The silver dragon uncoils itself from you and lands on the floor, its claws clinking against the hard stone, and it slithers off in a dart. Like 1 minute it's there, 1 minute it's gone. Like you don't see it move, it's so swift and so lithe, or it's using some sort of magic, but it's no longer there.
And you can hear it like giggling from the darkness. It's not sinister at all. It's a silver dragon. What are you doing? Anyway, and then I'm like, all right. I'm not freaked out at all by the weird room that everyone's afraid of. So, gonna go right ahead and walk right in there. Yup. Right, that's me. Right, let's go. And here we go. And I walk up into the door. And the door is it ajar? Is it open?
There is no door.
Just an archway.
It's just an archway. It probably was once a door in this dungeon, but no longer. And as you step a foot beyond, even though you are immune to cold, you've been given the gift of the 9 hells, or the gift of Stygia. You feel how cold this room is. It's not going to damage you, but it is noticeable for the first time since leaving the Isle of Solstice.
It's really cold. Hello? Anyone here? And I'm calling out. Is it dark?
There is a kind of fiery glow, although you can't see where from. The whole room just has this sort of blue miasma.
Can I sort of slightly hold up my rapier of the frost rapier and open it up slightly just so I have for the frost brand rapier so I can illuminate the room a little more and see what's around?
The room seems to be empty, although in the center is this pillar of ice and chained to it is this effigy. You can't, when you look at it, it seems to blur. You can tell that it's a man, but it's like looking at it through ice. It's distorted and strange, and it hurts your eyes to concentrate on it. You hear Kadroth's voice from the corridor. Kneel before it. Be quick, Graham. Hey, you're risking life and limb by not showing your. And then you don't hear his voice anymore.
Okay.
You turn your head, and the passageway behind you is just completely dark.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna kneel and turn my gaze away from it because it's clearly giving me a bit of a headache. And I'm like, my lord? I'm asking sort of as a question, you know.
Your voice.
My lord?
I guess.
So your voice, hesitant and unsure, is carried away, and it's like you've whispered down a long corridor, and you hear it echoing and repeating, and you feel yourself falling forward into darkness. And suddenly, you are faced with vision, a fiery figure held within a mountain of ice. And I'll pass over to Aram.
Oh.
Another one of these freaky faces. Jesus.
It's good to see you again,
Oh.
Graham.
It's
How
good to
have
see
you
you
been?
too. I can't really look at you, but you know what I mean. But yeah. How are you doing?
I'm not doing very well, Graham.
Is it the whole ice thing, is it?
It is the trapped in ice thing for an eternity.
Yeah.
That is my main problem, Graham.
Yeah, that would be uncool, I guess.
But you're here now. and you
Yes,
can
yes,
help
I am.
me. You've
And I
come
will.
to help, haven't you?
Yeah, you helped me. I said I'd help you. This isn't a...
I'm so
Yeah.
glad that we have that arrangement.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know why you're here?
To help you? I think your voice cut out there for a moment. I couldn't hear anything.
How will you help me?
How? I need to free you from the ice, obviously. But how?
Yes. Well, it's a bit tricky. But you and these knights of yours will use the Mythalar and open a gate to Stygia, and then use this Frost Maiden spell. Use it against her. Use it to free me. It can break the ice. It can stop the freezing of hell. Just get me out, Graham. That's
Yeah.
all that I need.
So if that's all you need, do you think you could
What else would I
Compens-
need, Graham?
could you compensate me if I get this done? I mean, this sounds like a tall order, you know.
What would you like?
Let's just say I will tell you what I want once you're free. Does it sound good?
Yes, I will give you anything your heart desires as soon as I am free.
Okay. All right.
Do we have a deal?
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say I'm gonna help you. I've got you covered.
Give me your hand. And he extends his arm.
I hesitantly put my hand out and look away. I'm like, yeah.
He takes your hand and he leans forward and he kisses it. And you feel a sizzling, a bit of pain, a sting for a moment on the back of your palm. And when you pull it back, there's this blood red set of lips that just fades into your flesh. Our contract is sealed.
Oh shit. I mean, yes. Of course it is.
I look forward to hearing from you again very, very soon.
Of course, Levitus. Yes. And I do a little curtsy. And then I'm like, oh, fuck have I got myself into? Right. I did. Sorry.
Okay, and you awake on the frozen floor. You're literally shaking as if you're recovered from a fit. And you look down, and the top of your hand is blackened, and there is a mark upon it, which, knowing what it is, does seem to be the mark of a kiss. And let us move the camera over to Owen. Owen, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Joe.
So, when obviously Graham and Kestra disappeared off into the town, you were left with 24 hours to spend in the place that you have called home for the last, well, almost 3 years. You've got this time to spend. Is there anything you wish to do before we head off to the Reghed Glacier?
Xalfiz is going to go to the casino. No. So, with the last couple of days, it's all been about this lost city of Eoghan, and Xalfiz realizes he doesn't know a whole lot about the area. And when the airship, he got the Professor Orb of Gann.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to... We didn't live in Brinchand, did we? We did.
So,
That's where we're living, in the temple.
So
Is there a workshop?
So you and Gon lived in Brinchanda.
Your
I believe
workshop
Gon
is
had.
in the attic of the temple.
There you go.
Oh, the temple.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a long time ago when that was established. So yeah, I'm going to head back to what I assume was like a bombed workshop. Like go up the steps to the back of the temple where this workshop is, clearing away like bits of wood and stuff. Just clear a work area to kind of research and talk to the Professor Orb and ask him about Eoghan.
So your journey through Brinchanda is a sad one. This is a place that, possibly unwillingly, you've called home for the last 2.5 years. The hardy people there, although maybe not a natural friend to an artificer, and don't understand or appreciate the work that you do unless it's got a real practical application to them and theirs. You have found some sort of home there, and seeing the town devastated and filled with starving refugees really does leave a mark upon you. The church itself, the Church of Lathlanda, has become a home or a refuge to these people from all the different towns, and you have to force your way through crowds of people desperate for food that does not exist and warmth that is not available. But you do find the way to the little stairway at the back of the temple that leads up to the place that you call home. And opening the door, you do indeed find that it has been ransacked. Your careful experiments thrown to a side as people have searched for food or for things of use, or maybe even from shelter. And I think you might even find a place in the corner where someone has used it to relieve themselves, to try and find that kind of modicum of privacy which is not available to them downstairs. But you clear away a space, and what do you wish to do?
So just as I'm going in the door, which can be seen from the street in different places, I'm going to take like a bit of charred wood and just draw the symbol of the Harpers on the door, because the Harpers would know that I live here. So if there's anyone around, they might see that, recognize I might be in. And I'm going to go into this workspace, pull out the orb, and just try and... So like, hello? Mr. Orb?
Xalfiz. I'm glad to hear from you again. I have to say, of all the people that have owned me in the past, well, would it be a year and a half? You have been my favourite. We do seem to have a meeting of minds indeed. I appreciate someone with cunning and artifice and appreciation for the little things that lead up to the big things. You are indeed... I've heard something.
Insulting.
Do you hear that?
I mean, I don't think I own you, technically. I mean, I wouldn't want to own you. But also Gann, I guess, owns you, if we are going that way.
No, it's a sad sight to see someone as me laid low to become a mere possession. Oh, in my day, I ruled over the books. I had apprentices and I had a goal, the search for knowledge, and now I have been torn from my body and trapped within this thing. Oh dear. Well, anyway, what can I do for you?
Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you. Like, were you torn and put in this orb, or did you put yourself in the orb to protect you?
Good question. Pass.
Which Joe was not talking. fucked up, obviously.
No. His voice is reeking with embarrassment.
Okay.
If you want to give me either intimidate or persuasion roll to try and push him.
I don't think Xalfiz would really care that much whether he's done it for self-preservation or not. It doesn't seem sinister. It just seems more like embarrassment to me. You're saying?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Well, there's possibly a sinister edge to it, actually.
All right.
He's never turned down knowledge before. Like, he's always been very willing to talk far too much. It's probably the first time you've ever got him to say no.
Someone who ruled over the books is going to air quote. How do you let someone outsmart you and rip you away from your studies and put you in a paperweight?
Give me a persuasion roll.
Ooh, a persuasion roll. +1. Bum. So on roll 20, which is rolling 6.
I'd rather not.
Care much.
No, I'd rather not speak of it, to be honest. It's not my finest achievement, to be honest. But needless to say, I did this to myself. I'd rather not go into details.
Yeah, it mightn't be an achievement. It's impressive. However you managed to... Look, experiments go awry. The real reason I want to talk to you, we don't know anything about this city of Eoghan. It was lost, trapped, or... How did it cease to be? How did it become entombed in the glacier? Or under the glacier? In the glacier or under the glacier?
Under, I believe, but probably both. Honestly, Eoghan was a jewel of cities. The ancients of Netheril, as I've been told we are, or so referred to. We were an enclave of wizards. We ruled over Faerun, and were only matched by the devastating Rime, the creatures from below. We powered magics that have never been seen in the realms before or since, and Eoghan stood above the rest, should I say. Our leader was a lich by the name of Irolarthus, and he sought magic and information wherever it was found. We called ourselves the Wizards of the Eben Star. 8 wizards, and Irolarthus ruled us. Each of the 8 wizards held mastery over one of the schools of magic. I was a lowly barbarian. Barbarian? Well, I would have been referred to as such. No, I was a lowly librarian. But I had power in my own way. But no, we discovered an ancient civilization. Have you heard of the giants?
The giants? Is that it?
Well, no, just the giants of Astoria. 40,000 years old, an empire of spellcasting giants that held power even undreamt before by Netheril in some ways. And we discovered one of their cities.
I heard a small bit about them, but then we moved on to talking about a very flat rock. I didn't hear all that much.
Oh, that doesn't sound very interesting.
It was actually more interesting than you would think. It was a very good tour. So you found... Is this one of these classic dwarf tales of we dug too deep, we found one of these cities?
It's funny you should say that, but yes. We found an ancient city, an enclave of Astoria, and within it, an artifact of strange and confusing power, a spindle, a spinning rock, maybe 10 foot long, of immense and unfathomable power. Irolarthus brought it back to the city and held it within his spire. And that is where we went wrong. We were days out of the city and suddenly I heard a tremendous crash, a boom which shook the very city itself. All magic ceased to function, and that is where my memory ceases. I assume that we plummeted.
Sorry, go on.
Well, I assume we just plummeted from the sky and into the Reghed Glacier.
But I know it's 10 feet long, so it's not the same, but does that sound similar to that item that we blew up over the frozen lake? Do you remember that may or may not have killed Xalfiz at one point?
No,
Oh.
no, it
Morning
wouldn't be
Star or
done.
something?
No.
I thought that was
No.
something that was spinning as well. Okay.
So that, and I mean, going back, so that was a Mythalar, or there was a priest who had found an ancient book from Netheril, and he tried to construct a Mythalar on a much smaller scale, and I think it blew you up very briefly, but it did destroy Oriel's Rime for a very, very short time.
So preventive magic, and there was a big boom. Okay.
But it was an artifact from Netheril, at least based upon one, yeah.
So you took it back to the city, and something or someone blew. Who was working on it? Was it Irolafras? Was that who you said?
Irolathas, yes, our light leader in the Circle of Eight. You've got to understand that our cities were powered by, well, I guess it doesn't matter now, these things called Mythalar. These are orbs of immense power. I mean, ours was a mere 50 foot in diameter, but some of them were almost 200 feet wide and could do almost anything. Anything you could imagine they could perform. Lifting hundreds of thousands of tons into the air was nothing to them.
Fascinating. So, think of the Lady Penguin. I could build one of them. Is there still one in the glacier? In the city?
Assuming that the spindle from Astoria didn't completely disrupt it, it will lay in the heart of the city beneath the tower of Iolathas.
And that would be enough to... Or is there another way to break open the glacier that you've researched?
I have no idea how to break open the glacier, although overhearing your conversations, it sounds like the tiefling Kestra holds such a power within the codicil.
Oh, yeah, the codicil. We probably should have kept that. So, when, after the disaster, was there anyone left? Is there... What dangers can I expect, or what locals or help? Is there anything? How did you get into the orb? How did you get out of here? Someone must have brought you out.
Well, yes, of course. I was after my failed experiment, I was used as a resource. I was carried round by wizards and apprentices who needed to know what I knew. The time I was in the Tower of Illusion. And when the city broke, my understanding is that tower was smashed off the top, toppled into Icewind Dale, and that is where I was found.
Okay, so...
And again, many weeks ago in real life, we did go, you went into the Tower of Illusion.
And when... Because we discussed the time, that was when he was like... A month ago was when he was found. Because when did this explosion... When did this all happen, I guess?
It's all happened, well... By Dale reckoning, I can't say. 1800 years ago, I would guess. Although much of it I've spent in darkness in a tower.
Well, it's very specific for someone who was... I couldn't guess, but exactly 1800 years ago.
Well, I may be out by a few years here or there. It's difficult to tell. The previous fools who have owned me were rather less conversational, shall we say, than you are.
And if we can free the city, is there a way to help you? For the help you are going to give us? Laying a guilt on heavy.
It's funny you should say that. Right. If I guide you within the city and show you where the Mythalar is, I might ask for a boon, just a small thing maybe when we're there. We'll discuss it closer to the time, but there are things within the Tower of Irolathas which may help my situation.
Very good. I mean, worst comes to worst, you're stuck in a ball, and if it seems unreasonable, we can just disagree at the time. Why wouldn't you tell me now?
Right, well, I'd really rather not. It's a bit embarrassing.
I mean, you're stuck in a glass ball, but okay.
Oh, fine. No, I'll tell you then. No, I'll tell. Unless you want to give me, you can give me another perception, not perception, sorry, persuasion roll. But you get the impression that if you fail and pushing him about something he's so uncomfortable about, he may be less forthcoming in the future.
Xalfiz is a practical kind of guy and doesn't care for feelings. So with a +5, I'll roll, I guess. I rolled a 7, but I had a flash of genius and thought I'd say please at the end to give me a +5 for 12.
Oh, Xalfiz, I can't say no to you. So, the lich, to become a lich, an immortal wizard, you have to create an artifact, one that holds your soul. I attempted this. As my aging body began to crumble, I tried to force my soul into this orb to become that which all wizards aspire to, an immortal creature of magic. Obviously, I'd have to fuel my ever-living existence with the souls of the dying and, the innocent forms, but there was plenty of slaves and such in Nether, so it would matter. Anyway, I miscast the stolen spell and ended up as this thing, subject to the will of anyone who holds me.
Oh, okay, so just so we're clear, the embarrassment wasn't the ritual sacrifice, just the accidental trapping in an orb.
Well, no, I mean, as you know, people who have the vision and the prowess and the intellect and the knowledge such as us, we need to have, what should we say, precedence over lesser forms.
I'm going to stop you there. Those of us with intelligence find a way around these issues that don't involve murder and sacrifice.
Oh,
We just have
sure,
some
no, of
people
course.
help us, like Gann.
I mean,
When you time him, he'll help you on the job.
when he says, of course,
Do it.
if an orb could wink, he has somehow managed to do it.
Of course.
There's a Disney sparkle in the corner of the...
Okay, unless there's
You're
anything
not
else you want to do, I'm going to move the camera over to Gann.
No one smashed the orb, but we'll
Back into your stupid library you go, you horrible bastard.
Don't care about your stupid Ice City. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't see any more to glean from it.
And he is available. So there is going to be a 4-day journey to the Reghed Glacier, and then there's also the journey to the city itself once you've cracked it open. So if you do think of anything else, do let me know, and you can continue to communicate with the professor, or Professor Scant, as his name.
Does that mean I can just burn spells like crazy until then?
Sure. And so gone. As everyone else has exited Elijah's airship, you are left standing alone on the frigid tundra outside the walls of Bryn Shander. What do you wish to do?
The first thing Gann does, just being himself, seeing all the people in Bryn Shander, he does basically use all of his spell slots to cast Goodberry and just disperses them amongst the crowd so people actually have something to eat. Prior to that, he wants to go back into the Lonely Wood to where his clan lived and basically try to commune with the gods that his druid teacher had taught him about, and that kind of his clan kind of worshipped too. They were more nature gods. But from what he learned from his teacher, there was kind of I believe they were called the First Circle. It was like the kind of original gods of the druids, and he knew about several of them. The 3 that put down Oriel, Malar, Talos, and Umberlee. He knew about them, but he didn't really follow them. But then there was 3 more that he kind of were related with, which were Sylvanas, Shanti, and Maliki.
Maliki and Shanti, yeah. So yeah,
Shanti, so the Forest Father, Great Father, and
Shanti too.
I know. But
So
they're the 3 that he'd like to communicate with or try to commune with, kind of just through prayer.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so it's going to be a journey of around 6 hours if you're going to walk to Lonely Wood from Bryn Shander.
What would I walk? Why would I walk when I've got a magic moose who will actually remain
indeed?
Tale us all this time. Why walk when you can take your magic moose?
Still unnamed. Now, Gann does have a game plan, which is he will eventually awaken the moose and get the name from the moose, but he is not going to name it until then because he's not going to force a name on the animal without, at this stage he knows he can actually consult with animals after meeting several awakened animals.
But he's okay with forcing him to carry him around the world until he finds a name out.
It's a mutual friendship, okay, Owen?
And
He doesn't
This is
mind.
my back. I sit on his to ride around.
this is very much, again, to draw on Lord of the Rings, this is very much a paragon relationship. Like Shadowfax was the Lord of Horses, this is the Lord of Mooses.
Meese.
Meester guys like cheese and hate cats, Joe.
Okay, so you gallop through the frozen wastelands, and there are no sign of people. You kind of pass by the town of Lonely Wood in the distance, and you see across the broken bridge that the village itself seems deserted. Snow is piled high over the buildings. There's no sign of wood smoke or any sign of life from within. But when you enter the forest itself, you feel a different feeling, a feeling you've not felt since you left your clan. It's a feeling of home. As you enter the woods, the temperature rises. I mean, it's still frozen, but with the trees and the canopy overhead, the darkness within feels welcoming rather than hostile. And as you make your way through the trees, and through the miles and miles of kind of darkened woodland, you feel at peace for the first time that you can remember. Do you have a specific destination in mind?
I don't want to go to where the druid that kind of trained me was kind of based, because he got corrupted and basically taken over by Ariel and whatnot. Just to our clan, to where we kind of had our central camp set up. Anywhere there is where he'd really just feel comfortable. There's no specific point. Probably, the central area where we'd normally gather for our food and just whatever we did to pass time.
So you arrive probably near nighttime at the clearing, or the natural clearing, where you see the kind of, would they be tents or would they be houses? Like, what sort of, how do you imagine your clan would have lived?
They would have been tents, but like robust, like stood over years and years, thick animal hides, roofs that like would prevent leaking, just kind of like a village of tents and whatnot.
So the clearing is still there, although obviously is covered in a sheen of silvery snow, and there is evidence of habitation, although it is collapsed. I mean, it's been almost 3 years since you lived here.
And since I've been back, after it happened, I kind of left and never really came back.
Of course. Is there somewhere that would be more holy to you, or where do you want to head once you've arrived?
I guess the tent that him and his brothers lived in. The clan wasn't holy, so to say. They kind of just lived off the land. They didn't really worship anything. If anything, they worshipped those 3 gods that I mentioned, just because they were kind of more based around harvest and the forest and kind of nature in general, which is very much the kind of lifestyle that they lived. But there wasn't any particular one god or goddess that they based their life around.
So you kind of you make your way through the clearing or clearings, and you sort of picture in your mind how it was, and you can see the different yurts and areas that you grew up and spent much of your life. And you arrive in a smaller clearing off to one side where your family yurt was, this sort of almost conical tent, and it's still standing roughly. You can see a dark doorway, and you make your way in, and you feel your nostrils and yourself with familiar scents and familiar memories, and you find yourself lost in thought as you make a fire and make a meal, and just find yourself staring out into the falling snow.
Yeah. So while doing that, he does what he hasn't really done before, which is he will actually try to commune with the gods, because what he knows of is from the first circle, the like original gods of the druids. He recognizes all the names, except for he wasn't aware of Oriel being a part of it, which he now realizes might have been the case, considering she was struck down by 3 other gods from this kind of druid circle, and there would have been 3 that he didn't really follow. But he'd like to communicate with Sylvanus, Shantia, and Maliki, and see if he can get any answers as to why the 3 of those gods struck her down.
So you, as you were taught, kneel in prayer and open yourself up. You find yourself staring into the fire that you've made, and the flames flicker in front of you, becoming meditative. And you find yourself lost in thought. You try and avoid focusing on one thing, and memories of your family and your brother who gave himself to Oriel flicker through your mind, and you force that away and try and keep your mind clear and empty and allow yourself to be lost in the moment. But you are broken from your meditation by the sound of hooves from outside.
Are they the moose's hooves, or are they like a smaller creature?
No, your moose left you when you entered the village. And this doesn't sound the same. And there's a loud snort, and you turn your head and look out into the darkness, where you see a silvery unicorn standing in the moon. How is standing in the moonlight? That can't be possible. There's no moonlight. There's no way that any moonlight could appear under Oriel's rime. But there it is. Snowflakes being highlighted, falling around it in this silvery radiance.
Hold on, let me just check. I don't think I have speak with animals. I'll go out and I don't have it prepared, and I don't know if I actually have it in my spell list, so I'm not bothered looking right now. I'll just communicate with it normally. I think unicorns can probably talk because they're magical. Hello. I'll go over and I'll put my hand out and cautiously approach it and see if it kind of shies away or anything like that, or if it kind of gets aggressive.
Yeah, the
Fears me.
You sort of put your hand around the side, the sort of almost 2 foot long, pin sharp horn, and this enormous beast lowers its head and allows you to stroke it. And you hear a voice in your head, or you hear it's not so much a voice, it's almost like a feeling of calmness. And again, you suddenly feel completely at rest as this magical creature, this totem of Maliki, has appeared before you. And you get the impression it's asking you to ask it questions. What do you wish to know?
Why was Oriel struck down by the other gods?
She snorts, and it almost sounds like a grin, or a smile, or a laugh, and you hear the voice again. Oriel is a fractious god, and she lost patience with the restrictions that those had placed upon her. She froze Umberlee's seas into what she saw as perfection, angering the bitch god. She tamed Talos's storms and slew the hunting creatures of Malor. But most of all, she refused to side in with them in their own battles. She insulted them, and they banded together to take her power. They wait now beyond the clouds.
Why can't they enter?
Oriel sacrifices her godhood and much of her power to cast this spell every night. Every night she flies over the dale and shields it from all of us. The gods cannot see into Icewind Dale unless A follower such as yourself gives us a window.
And can you do anything to help me?
I can give you two things, Gann. Two things that you desire. Well, no. One thing you desire and one thing that you need. First of all, I sense sadness and confusion for you. Your family did not give themselves over to Auriel. They did not sacrifice their beliefs or their courage. No, the opposite. They traveled, as you did, to the Isle of Solstice, the whole tribe, in an effort to despoil Auriel's power. But they found only death. Those that refused to join her remain there still, frozen in her garden of ice. If you had explored more, you would have found them there. But gone. If you break the rhyme, if you break Auriel's spell, your family and your tribe will be freed.
I met, at least I believe it was Auriel. She saved my life. Can you?
It was not Auriel. Auriel would not appear to you or to anyone. Auriel cares nothing for mortals, not her followers or her enemies. She regards all mortals as nothing.
Oh, what saved me?
You were saved by another fractious entity, a prince of the Nine Hells, a creature who calls himself Levistus. He sees your power and those of your groups as a way of escaping from Asmodeus's power and prison. He wishes for you to free him.
What? He saved my life. Do I have any ties to him? Well, can he control me in any way?
He sees everything you do. Everything. Here you are protected. He hears not this conversation, but everything else he can feel and see. And if he wished to, he could reach out and attempt to control. But you are strong at heart and good of spirit. Unless you gave himself over to you, unless you gave yourself over to him, he cannot take full control.
How can I break that connection?
The demons of hell have more power here because the gods cannot see. Asmodeus himself dares not act directly on the mortal realm for fear of reprisal from the gods, but under Auriel's rhyme, they take many liberties.
So, we need to stop Auriel. Is it possible to kill a god? Should I kill a god?
You may have to defeat her avatar, but that would not kill her. She would return in time and recast her rhyme. No. You must find a way to force her spell to end. Break the weather above for long enough. And the gods you have mentioned, Talos, Umberlee, and Mala, would descend on her herself. But if you cast a spell that powerful, Auriel will arrive, and you would have to hold her off until the others arrive. I fear you do not have that power, though powerful you and your companions be. So take this. And you feel in your hand a crown appear. A crown of thorns. This will empower you, Gann. Your beast shapes. When you take on the shape of nature, Your attacks will be empowered with the very elemental powers themselves. Fire, ice, anything you can dream, you can empower your blows. Mechanically, this means you can choose an element, and your beast shape attacks will have an additional 2d6 elemental damage to them.
Oh, before you added
That's
that, I was just
awesome.
thinking Green Lantern, the nature version.
Yeah.
I was thinking I'm the Avatar.
Wait till the Fire Nation attacks, then you're all buggered.
Yeah, they were all buggered. Thank you for this help. But is there any way that I can shield myself from Levistus hearing or seeing what I do with my allies outside of this shelter we have here?
One of your allies has become a pawn of Levistus. Even if I
Knows
could
straight away
shield
who
you,
it is.
even if I could shield you, I could not prevent him from getting toward your ally. You must trust there is a plan in place, and there is a way through the darkness.
We think, from what we've learned, we can break the Rime. I hope that your fellow deities are ready for when we do. If we do, it might be our only chance.
Those gods are fickle and angry. I would not summon them, nor would I be willing to sacrifice myself to communicate with them. However, if you break the weather and allow them to see Auriel, they will come, and they will drag her away into darkness.
Thank you, Maliki. And I'll kind of bow to the unicorn. And is there anything else I need to know before I go?
You journey to a place of death. A city filled with power and magic from a time when mortals held the power of gods. There are creatures there which could obliterate you and even Auriel herself. Tread lightly and be wary.
Okay. And Gann will kind of step away from the unicorn unless it has anything else. Unless Joe has anything else he wants to throw my way.
No. And I think before we do start the next day and head towards the Reghed Glacier and the city of Netherall, is there anything else anyone wishes to do or ask? Open it up to anyone.
So I'm going to mention it now just in case it does come up. I've changed out one of my artificers and fusions. So I have gotten rid of that pole and now have a Pipes of Haunting. Which I'm going to tell you about them if we need them.
Yeah, no, I know how that works. That's cool.
I'll tell you about that later.
I think you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, so did Graham meet up with Kestra after?
Yeah, we'll start the next. What we're going to do is we're going to take a 10-minute break now. We'll do a quick comfort break for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back with the party journeying to the lost city of Ythryn. So again, thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back very, very soon.
5 minutes. Seconds.
Hello and welcome back to Does It Roll? Does Rime with the Frost Maiden? Our heroes have gathered together. They have each completed their own individual quests, or at least they've searched for the knowledge and information that they needed before we head towards the secret city of Netherall. Is there anything any of you like to do in Bryn Shander or across the 10 towns before you return to Elijah's airship?
I don't think so.
I think
most of the standard from here. Going on.
I think
no,
the only,
do I have... Go on, sorry.
the only thing that Kestra would want to do is just make sure that on the way back, she gets it across to Graham of like, we can't tell the others what we've been doing. They don't know that I'm working for Avarice. She will kind of fill in Graham that she was hired to go find them. She wasn't working for, I can't remember what the name of the ally that she claimed she was working for, but that's a lie.
Levitus? What? Oh no, the other one you can't remember the lie. Yeah, me either. So it's not that.
Yeah, whoever I told you I was working for that was a friend of yours, it's not true. I was working for Avarice the whole time. Is what she gets across, but not to tell the others.
Understood, Kestra.
What's her name? It wasn't.
Like I think you're underestimating. They'd be pretty cool about it. I mean, Gann wouldn't. Gann would probably lose his mind. But
Gann's real square.
But Xalfiz would be all about it this night. It's But
Okay.
yeah, well, hush hush. We'll keep it hush hush.
So as the two of you, you heard dog sled, didn't you? So as the two of you like crest a rise, you see.
Please, God, can I say my thing?
Please do it. Please do.
Because I was cut off twice and you laughed. It was hilarious. I was like, don't do it. So the last thing
Actually, God
we went
wanted
to the island. we had left. Was it Nimby's his name? And the Harpers go off to warn all the towns. Like, I would swing by there and make sure there's nothing. Did they gather in any information, anything helpful, or basically, I guess a chance for you to give us any lore that might be handy, Joe? Like, is there anything that I would want to know from those guys? So I'd swing by the Harper Hall in Bryn Shander.
Okay, so the main Harper, she used to dress as a beggar and she got murdered in East Haven. Now, Nimbly, is that right? The speaker
Nimbly,
from Lonely Woods had come into Bryn Shander and is trying to basically support, and he's coming with the whole village because Lonely Wood has been abandoned because there's just not enough food now. The lakes are frozen over, but he's going to be hard to find. Can you give me an investigation check to see if you are able to locate him within the kind of teeming crowds of refugees?
Or from what I remember, he's a really annoying voice, and I bet you would stand out in the crowd though. With a +5, I am going to roll. Come on, D20. Don't do your thinking thing.
Not bad.
18. Well, that was very nearly a 1.
Okay, you locate him. He's got like a bloody bandage across his head, and he looks like he hasn't slept in about 3 days. And he looks up at you and goes, "Right there, Xalfiz. Glad to see you're still alive. I didn't really expect it. We are in dire straits here." Pardon?
What? I mean, the show is supportive. I mean, we were the heroes of the Icewind Dale a couple of times. He expects us to die. But it's okay. I'm glad to see you too. But
He sort of gives a rueful smile. It's Xalfiz, you never fail to cheer me up, but I fear this is the end. The lakes have frozen over. The strongest of us head out every morning and try and cut our way through the ice, but it's many feet deep now. And the fish, if we manage to catch them, are puny at most. We have nearly all the survivors of 10 towns now living within Bryn Shander. And we're dying. We have days, I think. Days.
What? Look, we have a plan and potentially a way of stopping the Rime.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, not much I can do here. Take this. And he goes to shake your hand, and as he touches your hand, he passes over a small silver coin. This has given me a lot of luck, but I think you probably need it more than I do now. Godspeed to you, Xalfiz, and I hope you see you again one day in Lonely Wood where we can toast to a sunny sky and a full plate.
Oh, this is a lot more depressing than I had hoped.
Yep.
Oh boy.
This isn't the upbeat Nimbley or Nimbley. I remember.
Nimbley was always the best thing about this thing. He made you happy. He was like, he's now got one eye covered. Like, thanks. Like a little playful like punch in the shoulder. Yeah, you just look. Hang tough. We'll be back in no time. Gann and Graham and Kestra. We'll be back. We'll solve it. We've been to Oil's Island and back, and it's over soon. I promise.
He tries to smile, but he's obviously kind of on the edge of tears, and he goes, fare thee well, Xalfiz. I look forward to see you again one day.
Okay.
In this life or the next.
Fairly okay, fairly well. This is not how you said. We had a subplot, some context there. We need to address it. This Xalfiz is going to hit off fucking mega depressed. Jesus.
Okay. So as Kestra and Graham crest the rise and approach Bryn Shander, you see the now enormous airship that somehow Elijah has constructed. It is nearly doubled in size, and the cabin beneath it is very, very strange. It doesn't look like it should be held together, and the materials don't seem to have like any nails, or it doesn't look like it should be sturdy, but yet it is hovering 15 foot above the ground with a rope ladder dangling down, and the tiny white kobold leaning out the window going, wait, are you, I said to get back at the same time. You're now what, 7 minutes late? Seven whole minutes, come on. Bloody big folk.
Sorry, Elijah. I know you're yeah.
Xalfiz is going to be like looking at this coin that he got from Nimbley, trying to examine it as he's walking the board, I guess.
Give me an Arcana roll.
Okay, cool. Like, did he just pay me? Arcana is also a +5. Hold on. I rolled a 13.
It does seem to have magic. But what kind of magic, you don't know. Like, it's not, like, powered by the weave. At least you don't think it is.
It's powered by Nimbley's hope, which is diminishing quickly.
Which is diminishing, yeah. The further you get from it, the weaker it gets. It's actually a cursed coin now.
Yeah, every 20 you roll is now a 1. No, it's not.
It wouldn't make any difference how I play the game. I haven't rolled a 20, I'd say, all second season.
Nimbley's actually imbued his soul into that coin, and he's becoming a lich.
Oh, no.
So,
if he's imbued his soul into it, it's pure gold.
I'm so
Oh.
yeah.
Who wishes to climb up into Elijah's cabin? I mean, do you all wish to travel to the glacier in the airship, or do you wish to use another means of transport?
I'm going to confidently go up to Elijah and looking at this airship, I give him a high five. I'm like, I hope this didn't take you too long, buddy. This is a great job. That looks good. Looks fantastic.
On my airshipping as well.
You'd be really surprised about how easy it is to like get starving people to work for you. Like, it's funny, right? They work so hard for so little, right? And they really help me do this. It's great.
Elijah, this isn't a good look. This isn't.
And he's like, what? I gave them like money and food and stuff.
Yeah, hopefully it was enough. You're saying for how much work they'll do for how little food? Man, that's not right.
Just get in, right? If you don't appreciate all the hard work these people have put in.
I appreciate their work. I'm just saying, you know. Anyway, good job, right? That's cool.
Just try and do a nice thing for people. You know, it was big enough for me. I've made it big enough for you guys. And
it was big enough for me as well.
Yeah, good to see you, Xalfiz. Always a pleasure.
How long is the trip to the glacier?
It's going to take about 4 days.
Okay, cool. So I will cast all 14 spell slots on Goodberry and summon 140 of them and just disperse them to the town again. And then I would get
Everyone
on
give us
to...
a shitload of good berries. Like, oh my god.
No, they're only good for 24 hours, so I explained that too. So people don't just like hold on to them hoping they'll be good for a while and then just eat a rotten berry.
Right. Okay, so as soon as we leave the town, I'm going to get Niall to roll for random encounter. No. We're not doing that. We're on a time limit. Is there anything anyone wishes?
5 eagles.
Anything anyone wishes to do before we head off across the ice?
Xalfiz is going to claim the largest bedroom. He's going to run around quickly and just throw his bag on the bed. Like when you get to like a summer camp.
Hey, that's my bed. Get away from...
Kestra wants whichever one is closest to where the dragon sleeps because she is enamored with it.
Nice.
Well, Reginald's just hanging out. I think he's trying to sit down and have conversations with people. So if you want to impart some wisdom upon Reginald, I'm sure he'll happily soak
Kestra
that
did
up.
that when you were like, go find Kestra. She totally, she did what you do with like young children when you're babysitting them and you tell them a bunch of like weird stories, shit that you know is kind of only half true. Probably taught him some trick that's going to annoy Graham.
He's like...
Putting a coin under a water bottle and squeezing it when he looks into it.
So the journey does take around 4 days. The winds are hard and the nights are long. It does feel a bit darker, and every night that goes by, Auriel's spell just gets that bit more power, and every morning does seem to have that bit more dim and a bit more cold. And after leaving from what many of you has been a home of Bryn Shander for these past years, and leaving it in such desperate situation, you really do find it hard to feel any kind of positivity as you approach the mighty wall of ice that is the Reghed Glacier. Right, we're almost there. It's going to be like probably another half an hour or so. I mean, this thing's really big. Do you know where we're going?
Is there any I imagine that Kestra has been reading the codicil, like as this journey has happened. Is there anything in there that indicates where to go to break it open?
So you can give me a religion or a arcana roll.
I will go with Arcana.
Maybe nice.
Natural 20.
Nice.
So the codicil itself was obviously written by Auriel's, I wouldn't say first follower, but it's not really that, because obviously she died and was resurrected by this member of the Reghed Barbarians. Savior is a good way to describe it, and it's almost like a diary that chronicles the events that led up to Auriel being resurrected and then what happened beyond that. And so reading it doesn't really give you it doesn't really shed any light on what you need to do. However, the longer you spend with it, you feel yourself bonding with it, and you get an understanding of the power held within. This power is not an arcane power, and it's not even directly Auriel's power, although that is the primal source beneath it. This is the spirit of the Reghed Barbarian who wrote it, held within the pages, and she can be channeled. By forming a bond with her as you have over the last 4 days, you believe that you can send your thoughts out through the ice to find the thing that you are looking for. However, there will be a cost, and your life force will power it.
I think she kind of looks at everyone, and she has the codicil in her hand. She keeps it close. Because also she's inhabited the body of this woman before in the trials. I think I can find it, but I think we should wait till we're closer. It's going to be draining.
All right, well, I'll just take you over there then, shall I? And he just points at this endless wall of ice that's almost a mile high. And you travel towards it. Are you all spending this journey inside the ship, or is any of you either riding below or on there's like a little, there'd be like a platform
Gangway.
that's been hastily constructed above And yeah, there's probably like multiple cabins. I like the idea of like rope bridges between them. It basically, is anyone going to be outside, or at least looking outside as you approach this?
I think Graham will be outside, topless because he doesn't feel the cold, and trying to teach Reginald how to fly because he is only but a new dragon.
You know, when you're swimming, you're holding him in the air beside you.
Yeah.
So I had this idea of like Gann also, like, you know, over the journey, like playing with Reginald, like transforming into a giant lizard and like wrestling like that, like puppies would when they're like younger and stuff like that. And then when you're trying to teach him to fly, I'm like alongside as a giant eagle, showing him how to like use your wings and stuff.
Okay, so can both of you give me a perception roll? As I mean, you're kind of focused on Reginald, so there's no advantage. I think just a straight perception.
Yeah,
Surely.
giant eagles get an advantage. Yeah.
But again, because you're focused on Reginald, I think that's where you.
Okay, fine.
Can I roll perception for Reginald?
Ignore the rules then.
Yes, you can.
Fine. I mean, I rolled twice.
He's a friggin' dragon. He probably has like 50 perception. I got 15 plus 5. I got a dirty 20.
Okay.
I got an 18.
Okay. So which one of those dice is Reginald?
Reginald's got 5. He's too busy enjoying flying. He's like,
Okay,
this is
so
the best.
So in the future, I need you to roll separately for you and Reginald, so I know which one's which, because it's going to be narratively, it's going to be different depending on who sees what. If that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but so it sounds like both of you saw for a moment through the clouds something flying behind you, or maybe some things. They're like away behind, at least a mile. But because you got a 20, you think they may have been a gargoyle or gargoyles.
All right. Can I fly up higher into the clouds and like disappear into them a bit and try to go back a bit behind the airship just so I can confirm and just wait and see if I see anything? Like, I'm up higher now, so I want to see if I see anything else following along behind us.
Yeah, absolutely. So how far do you want to fly back?
How far did they seem like they were?
So they were about a mile.
So I'd like go about half a mile, so like I'm still a fair bit from them, but close enough to the ship to get back if I need to and warn them.
Okay, so you're flying higher. Can you give me a stealth roll?
I can. Damn it, I didn't cast Pass Without a
You
Trace.
just gotta grab a cloud and then cast Pass Without a Trace.
Yeah, grab a cloud. Let me find the eagle's stats first. Giant eagle. Where are you? Because it might have better stealth than I have. Yeah, it definitely does. So, I got a 14 plus 3, a 17.
So you hide within the cloud cover, dodging between these kind of fog banks, and you work backwards. And it's not long before you do indeed see two huge grey gargoyles flying through the darkness. They're flanking on either side an ice-white tiefling who is on the back of a broom. And you think it's just them for a moment, and I'd like you to give me another perception roll, and you can roll with advantage being a giant eagle.
Okay, I like that. So perception plus 5. Actually, no, it's plus 4. That's 1, and that is 2. So I got a dirty 20 again, 16 plus 4.
The clouds break, and you see much further back, so you're thinking maybe more like 3 or 4 miles. There is a procession. 2 wagons, maybe 24 people, and in front of them marches a chardling dragon. On its back, a red tiefling.
A red tiefling. Have we met any other red tieflings outside of Kestra?
No, well, you haven't, no.
Want to know what's really sad about this is that we could be going the wrong direction because we just said, yeah, over there. So, and they're like following us to where, you know?
Yeah, so I will fly back.
Yeah.
I will fly back, land on the platform, and just Graham.
What did you see?
We're being followed, and our old friend is back there. the dragon,
Oh,
not the white one, the rock one.
You're way more specific. We've met so many dragons.
yeah. I mean, like Joe's not very nice to us, so we have.
It's
a lot of-
Dungeons and Dragons.
plural. Like,
Okay. Reginald should come with us too, and I'll go downstairs to where Xalfiz and Kestra are.
yeah, I follow.
Guys, everyone, we're being followed. Those gargoyles that we saw at the prison, they're behind us with a tiefling, a white tiefling on a broom.
I wouldn't worry too much about her.
Why are they? If we shouldn't worry about them, why are they hiding behind us? Do you know this person?
Yes.
Do you know another red tiefling here in the Dale?
Do I know another red tiefling here in the Dale?
Yeah, so the leader of the Knights of the Black Swords is a red tiefling who obviously Kuran
okay.
knows. Is called Kadrath, or Kadrath.
Kadrath.
You know, we don't all know each other, but yes, I do. No.
In this case.
How dare you assume?
That's not the assumption I was making,
So
but
every Irish person says all the time, like, actually,
Yeah.
I do know this person.
actually,
you're
yes, I
talking
do. Yeah, it's like, do you know Mary? No, yes, actually, I do. I went to school.
about. Every time.
And I look at Xalfiz. Like, your old friend is there, the Chardlin dragon.
Oh, and I'm just like,
I could have sworn
I'm looking-
destroyed
I'm
him
like-
with the ring of the ram. I could have sworn I destroyed him with the ring of the ram.
All this time, like, Gann knows that someone else is in cahoots with Levistus, and with Graham's reactions is like, oh,
yeah,
Just
I'm like, you know,
Wait. Didn't
I mean, I don't want to disturb you all, but we're here now. Do you want me to
Okay,
descend
Elijah,
or?
hold on. Didn't Kevin destroy the Shardlin dragon? Didn't we see that blow up?
no,
No, it flew
away.
off.
Oh, okay. That was feels like months ago.
Look,
So,
I
from
don't
what
know
I
any-
understand, sorry, go on, Kestra.
I was going to say, I don't know anything about this dragon, but I know you don't have to worry about that tiefling or those gargoyles.
Who?
You very much need to worry about the dragon. It's more like it's worse than
think-
normal
Not if
dragon.
that's
Xalfiz, I'm sorry to interject here, but I'm gonna say I think we should not engage, let them do whatever it is they're doing, and we can go about our business. And unless it becomes a problem, it's not a problem. You with me?
Yeah, maybe it's unrelated to the lost city under the glacier. that
Maybe,
overpowered, right?
exactly.
Maybe they're
It's
going
just-
somewhere else.
Estra, you sound like you know this tiefling. Who is it?
Her name is Avarice, and you don't have to worry about her.
Can I
I
do
have
like a
something
history
she
roll
wants.
to see if I know who Avarice is or if I recognize the name?
You can do a straight intelligence roll because it's been
Alright.
mentioned before.
I do as well because I'm in the conversation also, I guess.
I don't like the idea of doing like multiple rolls for the same thing because just on the law of averages you're going to get it. So I think if one person does it, and then we'll see from there. Otherwise, it needs to become like a group roll.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 7, so I'm not familiar with it, and I wish I could remember, but I don't. And who is Avarice? Why? What do you have that she wants?
Several,
Like,
but it's a long story, but you don't have to worry. She's not going to bother us.
Kestra, we're going into a almost certain death situation right now. I don't want anything hidden from me.
I did some work for her. There is still a bounty I have to collect. So she's not going to be a problem. If anything, she might be helpful, because if we die, she doesn't get what she's looking for.
Did you know she'd be following us?
Not exactly. I knew she might
That's a
show
police
up. I didn't think she'd be trailing a mile behind us.
Yeah.
It's not exactly
Just-
subtle.
I'm like
Just a point of
behind.
order. If we die or if you die, because one of them makes me feel less safe.
do you want to give me
A
that
bit of
intelligence
both.
roll? Owen, see if you recognise
Okay.
the name Avarice.
Da-da-da-da.
With +5, I rolled a 15.
So Valen Harpel has mentioned her. So she said there was 3 of the members of the Arcane Brotherhood that came to Icewind Dale in search for the lost city of Netheril. Herself,
Shan was the one, was it?
Zan, who was burnt alive, although you did find his simulacrum, and then Avarice. Avarice, and then there was also the apprentice Nas Lomanta, who she was the last owner of the Professor Orb.
Did they Valorant ever explain what they were planning to do once they found the city? Is it just to become badass, powerful ring of wizards again? That was it, wasn't it?
I think the idea is you found that tower that was buried in the ice.
Yeah.
That was discovered in it, and people like looted it for books and the Professor Orb, and it got back to the Arcane Brotherhood, and they realised that there was possibly a whole treasure trove of magic items and spell books and power and all sorts of stuff. So they came to Icewind Dale looking for that, and then they got trapped with Oriel's Rime.
And that's their
They also weren't really like buddy with each other, because they all kind of like stabbed each other in the back.
Yeah, they're like rivals in a corporate ladder.
Trying to get that promotion, trying to get the.
It's more like Amazon rather than Google, then.
Exactly. Don't kick us off Twitch, Jeff Bezos.
He's watching us right now.
Okay, so the balloon begins to descend. Right, I'm sorry, but we're descending here. It's either that or we're going to crash into this bloody wall.
Well, if we have nothing to worry about, and I'll look at Kestra, then I'm okay with it. Xalfiz.
Yeah. I'm like behind Gann, looking at Kestra like this, going like,
and Xalfiz is looking directly at you.
You're not wearing a top. You're not wearing
you. You're not wearing a top.
So I'm like, I'm like,
you're like
collarbone.
Yeah.
Kestra is giving Graham that look that like a mother gives to somebody. You know, like when you're in a restaurant and they're like, "How old are you?" And like, you know, I'm 8. No, you're 6. You are 6. It's just that look of like, no. Mm-mm.
And I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm,
stop it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, be cool. And he's walking around half naked despite the fact it's like minus 40 degrees. And Gunn's like, I wonder who might know who Lavistas.
Yeah.
As we descend.
Technically, I could do that too, then, couldn't I?
I think quite a few of you could do it right now. Like, you've quite a few of you got resistance to cold.
Xalfiz is double his body weight in furs and clothing. The rest of you are walking around in fucking lycra.
Right, I don't know what we're going to do, how long you need to be here, but I can't stay here for very long. The winds off this bloody glacier are causing havoc with the propeller and the phalange. Any moment we're going to crash. You need to get down now and do whatever you're going to do, otherwise we're going to hit this wall.
Just make sure you don't go any slower than 30 miles per hour, or the bomb will explode. No,
and I just
what? You've got a bomb on here?
No.
Technically, I have several things you're classified as a
true.
bomb.
Yeah.
Right, just get out. One of you, just get out.
Kestra will be the first one to go down that ladder and get down, because she wants to start whatever. I don't think she knows exactly what the process is to form that connection to find where they're going. But before she does, she's going to cast False Life on herself, because hit points.
With extra hit points, yeah. Do you need to roll for that, or is it just
I do. It's 7. I just rolled it in the D&D Beyond because it's got a button for it. So it's 7 temporary hit points that I get there.
As Kestra's doing this, Xalfiz realizes he's pissing off the DM. He's going to start doing stretches at the top of the ladder just to get ready for the next section.
We haven't got that long.
I didn't realize that D&D Beyond had that campaign roller now. That's really cool.
So Kestra, what do you wish to do to try and break open this glacier? How are you going to approach it?
I think I know in the description it says that there is a poem which acts as a kind of incantation. So I think what she does is she reads that over, and I think she's been reading that over in this entire journey, trying to memorize it. And I think that she will summon her pact weapon, but she'll summon it in the form of that spear that she had when she took that woman's form in one of the trials. The spear that had all of the shells and stuff on the end, that was used by the lake. And I think that once she has that, once everyone's down and they're there at this glacier, at this ice wall, I think she just kind of closes her eyes and pictures herself as that woman again, like she was by the lake, and just recites that poem while shaking the spear in the same way that she did back in the trial, trying to kind of repeat that step and kind of inhabit this woman again to try and break the glacier open.
Okay, and as you mutter the same words again and again in your head, they begin to form a concordance, a rhythm of words that bear no meaning, but they do have power. And you feel yourself separating from your body, and you feel yourself entering the realm of death and being pulled into the glacier. And as you journey through this everlasting ice that has been here for untold years, you see a speck of darkness, a fault in the ice, a bubble of darkness which should not be there. And you know that you can use your very life power to join the reality of where you are with the reality of this bubble of darkness within the ice. And all you need to do is power it. And you feel yourself kind of falling towards an abyss. And if you wish to cast the spell, I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
I think she does try to, and I think that in her mind she takes that spear and pushes it towards the darkness as she casts it. So this is plus nothing, but I think I have. Can I add? Where's my features? Can I add this to? I'm also going to add in. I have Dark One's own luck.
Okay.
So I can add a D10 to my roll, which I'm going
nice.
to do. I don't trust my constitution at all. So that's
The Squire actually paid for advantage for Kestra, so rather than using Dark One's own luck, you might want to roll with a...
Oh, yeah.
Or you can hold that advantage till later because you
Hold on
rolled
to
a
the
9.
advantage. Thank you, by the way. I'll hold on to the advantage.
Amanda Square.
So yeah, 22. I can do
Okay,
that.
so you will take half damage as your spirit and life force are rendered, and you take 10d6 damage from casting this spell. So it's 31 points of damage, so halved would be 15.
Oh, okay. That's not horrible.
Yes, it is.
I had 10 pretty hit points. I casted False Life first.
That was you've approached it perfectly. However, you feel yourself falling forward into darkness, and to everyone else, you've seen Kestra kind of just muttering this strange poem under her breath. You could just sort of hear these words against sort of summer and darkness and ice and cold, and then she just collapses forward, unconscious. And the whole world begins to rumble.
I will run forward and grab Kestra so that if anything happens, she doesn't fall into a crevice of death.
And not too soon, because the world, so the ice beneath your feet completely rends open, a crevasse falling into darkness, hundreds of feet deep, tearing itself open and further until it creates this hole that must be 100 feet in diameter, leading down miles and miles into the Reghed Glacier. Kestra, you are limp in the real world, but you find yourself in Icewind Dale. However, above you, the stars are shining brightly, and there is a Reghed barbarian yurt in front of you, and sitting in front of it is a scarred barbarian queen. Her legs crossed, her face illuminated by the flickering flames. Welcome. I am glad you've decided to side with me against Oriel. Sit with me and eat and feel refreshed.
And she shows respect. She bows and takes a seat again, cross-legged. The rhyme can't continue. Stop.
No. But if you use the magics you're planning to cast from this ancient power, Oriel will just... she'll just return. You need to make her vulnerable. You need to get her above the clouds.
I
You
think we
need to
can do
find a way of drawing her enemies to her.
I'm not alone. I have friends. I think we can manage it. This might be a silly question. Am I dead?
Not yet. Although there are worse things.
And she will eat the food that is there. Where is this place? Where are we?
We are between worlds. I sacrificed everything for Oriel, believing her to be my patron. I brought her back from the dead, believing she would do my tribe what needed to be done.
I saw.
However, she cares not for us mortals.
She murdered your tribesmen and your mother. I know. To get the codicil, we had to do the challenges. We had to live through what you saw.
It's perverse. She cares not for her followers. I'm not even sure if she finds it amusing. I'm not sure if she cares. I think all you have done is touch upon her memories.
So where do I go from here? I have to get back to my friends and tell them this.
You're just with me for a moment. A glimpse. I just wanted you to know that I am here. I will lend you what power I have.
Thank you.
If you can find a way of breaking the rhyme, you will need everything I can give and all the powers you can bring to your disposal, because Oriel will not take death lightly.
But she will die.
I
She
hope
will.
so. Go. We will meet again.
And
the
Kestra
world-
will bow.
And the world fades, and you are facing this enormous tunnel through the ice. Bloody hell, that was pretty amazing. Ooh. Right, in you get. Let's go. This is big enough for the airship. That's. Let's go.
Okay.
Not until Kestra, we know
Xalfiz
Kestra's
not
okay.
Am I conscious again?
Yeah. So Kestra, you've kind of levered yourself up. You are hurt. The damage that you've taken, although again cast aside by some of the spells that you've managed to power, you still really feel the cold deep in your soul. This isn't like any normal spell. You're not using the weave. You are literally using your own soul to power this spell, and you're not sure how many times you can cast it without losing yourself completely.
Kestra, are you okay?
She's kind of clutching at her chest and her stomach, and I think it probably gives her this horrible empty feeling, this just cold chill. Yes. No, I don't know. I saw the barbarian queen. She said that we have to get rid of Oriel. We have to get her above the clouds where she's vulnerable.
Yeah. The gods that cast her down, if they see her, if we can break the veil even for a moment, they might come and strike her down.
I don't know how much more I can cast this spell. It's like it's drawing from me to do it, but and she's clearly in like a lot of pain. She's kind of clutching and trying to stand upright. And
I'll cast Cure Wounds on her. just to see if it alleviates any of her pain. That is a 5 + 5, 10. I did it in D20 because it's easier just to click the cure wounds spell there.
I'm all the way back up.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome. Is it still drawing from you now, or
Does it still? Is that whole kind of cold, sucking feeling still there in the pit of her stomach?
You feel a very deep connection with the book itself, and you believe that every time you cast the spell, the toll or the price will be more.
hopefully?
As
Oh, go on.
Oh, go on.
Sorry, I just asked Kestra a question, but
Xalfiz sees this happening, he's going to walk over to Lady Penguin, take out his multi-tool, and create the Protector Eldritch Cannon, which is my healing cannon, which we've seen very little of. I used it once and nobody took damage, so well, I'm never doing that again. It was boring. So yeah, as a bonus action, I can cast out 1d8 + 5 temporary hit points on each creature. I have 45 uses of it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You can do what now?
Okay, I mean, the Elijah is sort of trying to hurry you back into the airship. Do you wish to go, or do you wish to travel this tunnel in another way?
I mean, if Elijah's willing to fly, I will go with the airship.
I think the airship is better.
Elijah, you've always been so handy at the helm.
Honestly, it's nice to be appreciated. It's nice.
Thank you, Elijah. We appreciate everything you do for us.
Such a different tone you've taken with Elijah since the first time you met. Remember that?
I know, but he's really shown that he can be trusted and that he's helpful.
True. I mean, I always liked him.
It's not a little pushy. It's not a little pushy. Get off the ship or we're going to crash down.
Maybe insulting our pilot is not a good idea.
This is feedback. This is construction.
I grab Xalfiz and just chuck him up into the airship.
Yeah, Kestra will get in. She's also going to cast False Life on herself again. She can do this at will.
And to make sure Xalfiz doesn't get upset, I take Lady Penguin under one of my arms and I climb up the ladder.
I was also thinking you just chucked Xalfiz and he's covered in explosives.
So you begin to travel through this icy tunnel, and again the diameter is enormous, and it has an incline of maybe only 10 or 20 degrees, but the further you travel, the more you become aware of the weight of ice above you. It's pitch black, but the lanterns on the airship and your own lights reflect in an unusual and disturbing way against the melted glacier around you. And the sound from your voices and the thrum of the airship again echo disturbingly, and you have this unruly sense of disquiet, of wrongness. And as you get deeper and deeper and deeper, you feel you're approaching something dreadful. Particularly those of you that control any kind of magic, there is a tear in the weave ahead. Something which you feel deep in your soul.
So,
Xalfiz
being prepared. Oh, go on. No, you go.
I just stopped that sentence because we have Professor Scant. If that was going.
Right.
So,
Oh, no, sorry. Sorry, wrong voice. I started standing like your friend Elijah there for a second. It's addictive, his accent, I tell you.
Are you not Elijah?
What's going
No,
on?
you talked to Professor Orb.
Yeah, this Professor Scant has a name. He has a name, even. Now I've gone to his voice. You never told me about what is this experience? There's like pressure. I can feel there's a disturbance in the force. In the weave is just wrong.
There's two possibilities. The first one is that the Mythalar, the heart of the city, has somehow been broken and is putting out waves of raw magical power. The second one is more disturbing, in that it's the spindle itself, that artifact from Lost Astoria, is causing this disruption in the weave. I worry will happen to you mortals as you approach.
Fingers crossed. It's a small little, I don't know, 1 foot tear in the mithril, and I can just cast mending, right? No.
I would say linger not. The longer you spend close to this terrible, terrible power, the more likely it is that your bodies are going to be torn or changed.
Cool. So we're still talking in like half truths and riddles. Any advice other than, oh, beware the, like, any actual helpful stuff?
Well, I mean, if you have some sort of magic or artifact that can protect you from wild magic or the raw powers of the weave, then maybe use that. If you don't, then, be quick.
Okay, cool. That is helpful. I will just have to be quick, I guess. That's really helpful. I mean, I'm sorry for the sass.
Was that an outside
Elijah-
conversation or an internal one?
Oh, that's everyone.
Okay. At the word of wild magic, gone in a past life, gets a shiver.
I heard it can turn people blue.
Turn them into Mr. Manhattan or Dr. Manhattan.
Still want to double check, Joe. The Mythalar is what Avarice was talking about, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, basically everyone in this entire campaign is after this huge artifact. It can do anything, pretty much. It's a very, very powerful thing.
But are they looking for the full construction of the mithril or the small spindle thing? The small spindle, then they can make their own mithril, is it?
The spindle is a separate thing altogether. The spindle seems to be what took down the city. While researching it, it disrupted all magic on the floating city, even as powerful as the Mythalar.
And that's what I'm after, right?
I thought they made the mithril.
You don't know about the spindle. The only person that knows about the spindle is Xalfiz. The Mythalar is what you've been directed to. The spindle is a separate thing altogether.
Mm-hmm. I think going along for the 4 days, I would have explained about the spindle and everything. Because I don't think Xalfiz has any reason to hide anything. He's kind of weirded out by his topless friend, but like doesn't suspect anything other. He's been for a few days, and he's a weaker mind individual who can't handle it. He's having PTSD breakdown.
So if you're having those discussions, then the professor or Professor Scant will probably say something like,
Right, if you do make it into the Tower of Irolarthas, there is it's difficult to describe because it's not like a real place. It's a whole separate thing. But there is a way of moving around it, and there is a room within there which holds the spindle. And the spindle will be locked inside a stasis field. I would suggest not disrupting it, or you will destroy all magic in the city. Or at least pause it.
Without a stasis field, how can one contain the spindle?
Well, judging by the fact my betters within the city, and he sort of gives out a bit of a sigh, didn't manage to, I guess you probably can't.
I mean, they were ancient, primitive spellcasters, and that's happened in the last 1800 years.
I don't really like that word, primitive.
I have a high-vis jacket now.
I mean, when we're talking about any kind of civilization, I think that the word primitive is rather a derogatory one. But when you're talking about a civilization that controlled magics that are only dreamt of nowadays, it is completely the wrong word.
Okay, sorry, not primitive.
This orb is really full of himself.
Well, I mean, let's call it... I mean, so legendary? Are they made up stories, tall tales?
Mythical.
Mythical, yeah.
Okay, so it's from fairy tales. I gotcha.
Make believe.
Xalfiz is a shithead skeptic all of a sudden.
We were only outmatched by the fair Rime themselves, those creatures of null magic that, well... Anyway, I would rather not speak of such monstrosities.
Is there any chance of them being here?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same question.
No. I believe there's an example of a body of one in locked in the vault of the library. I think I even saw it once, but no, not a live one. No, they must have been destroyed centuries ago. Otherwise, life on the realms as you know it wouldn't exist.
Much like all legends you tell kids. Yeah, I gotcha. Mystical stories.
I guess, I mean, I don't want to go into too much history, but if anyone wants to do an Arcana roll, you may have heard of the Farum.
Well, I've been studying the rhyme, so could I do a history roll? Like, I've been studying how to break the rhyme and all this crap.
History will definitely come about, yeah.
Cool, because that's a +9. Let's go with that. Boom, boom, boom. Man, roll 20 is running slow this evening.
That'd be
16 total. My God, what a bad roll.
It's 9. Wow.
Okay, so you don't know much about the Farum, but the pieces that you've managed to gather together from ancient texts and talking to sort of undead wizards in the sort, you will have learned that the Farum were a long funnel-shaped creature that could destroy magic at a touch. They lived in the Underdark, and they were the ultimate the ultimate nemesis to Netheril, which was a civilization built upon magic.
So they were a race of magic wizard hats. By the sounds of it, long cone shapes.
They sort of like they were the very long, yeah, so about 15 foot long. At the front was a huge mouth. At the back was a sting. There's sort of little number of arms and legs. They were a horrendous monstrosity from ancient times, and it's good that they seem to have been extinct because they were a real scourge of the world.
Stop saying seem, yeah.
Yeah.
The definitive articles show here.
We only deal in
absolutes. Yeah. So, with the pressure or stress that the magic users are feeling, do we feel like, is it like omnipresent everywhere, like, or is it this side of our body? It's more intense because it's originating from that direction within the city. What's the kind of vibe?
It's difficult to describe because obviously you use another sense to detect the arcane, but it's almost like tinnitus, this kind of like uncomfortable buzzing sound that the closer you approach Netheril or whatever city it is, Etherin, the more intense it is. And I guess, Graham, you see your 4 companions with Elijah becoming increasingly uncomfortable, like raising their voices as if they're trying to speak over a sound.
And I'm trying to mimic it. And as an actor, I'm like, yeah, you know.
How's Reginald faring?
Not good, I imagine.
He seems okay. They seem
Reginald's fine.
Can Kestra go out to the deck of the ship? Now we're moving through this tunnel with this strange feeling about magic. She just wants to try casting Eldritch Blast off into, like, against one of the walls. Maybe there's a bit of ice jutting out, just to see if it's actually, like, this feeling that they're getting, if it's actually going to affect them doing anything.
I think strictly, you actually can't cast Eldritch Blast on a thing. I think according to the rules, you have to cast it.
Well, did anything happen when I cast Cure Wounds?
But I think rule of cool, you can cast it on a thing. I think
she's not
rules
trying to specifically damage it. She just wants to see if anything feels off casting.
Yeah, rules as intended.
I'm sorry. I really do like the idea of Kestra just waiting, just standing on, just being out there waiting until like a tiny lizard or something pops in, and then just blasting it because that's the only time she could.
Sorry, it's been a few weeks. I've forgotten how to.
But what I'll say is there doesn't appear to be a wild magic zone, so it functions as you'd expect. It's not more powerful, less powerful, and there's no unexpected effects, if that's what you were kind of edging towards.
Yeah,
however,
she just wanted to see how.
Now that you're on the deck, you do notice 2 things. About 200 feet ahead, buried in the ice, are 2 objects. The first one appears to be an enormous iron head, like a Myrmidon soldier, sort of a bronze or copper statue, half embedded in the ice. And the second thing seems to be a tower. Or at least the top of a tower has been sheared off and again is embedded into the ice ahead.
I think she shouts down to the lower deck. There's something in the ice. There's a tower and a giant head. Come up here and look.
Okay, so I'm gonna pop up and take a look.
Graham, at least put on some armor. We could get into a fight at any stage. Please put some clothes on.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I put on my my big coat. I guess it's my leathers. It's like a parka. But I still have it kind of open. It's all good.
These things appear to be ruins, like broken remnants of the city. But I guess a clue you're on the right track.
Xalfiz, can that orb tell us anything?
Is this the tower he was talking about?
You don't think so. And again, you felt a connection with the city of Eoghan, and you know that the tunnel will lead you there. And you're close, but not this. You're not there yet.
That's Kestra, not me. You're talking to, right?
Yeah. Sorry, what do you want to say, Aaron?
No, I was just making sure that it was Kestra you were saying to.
Yeah.
I don't think this is what we're looking for. I think we need to keep going deeper. And whatever it's causing, I find it hard to think. It's like a headache, a pain. There's something affecting my magic.
Spells still work though. Nothing weird happened when I casted one a minute ago. Yet.
I think we need to find this. See if the what's the word it's called? It's not the spindle, the other one. Sorry.
Mythalar.
Mythalar.
The Mythalar. We need to find this Mythalar and see if it's damaged and causing. If it's the reason the city has been lost, causing his anguish. Drive on deeper, I guess I say to kind of Elijah.
As you pass over the great iron head, the Professor Ob speaks up and goes,
That, very interesting. The city is guarded by a number of enormous iron golems, and that is the head of one.
Do we have to worry about it?
Well, normally I'd say no, but as you're not a member of the Netheril Enclave or a wizard of the Eben Star, then I'd suggest that staying away from a 50-foot high iron golem is probably a good idea, even if it has lost its head.
But you are, right?
Sure. I would suspect that in my current condition, I would not be recognized as such.
Also,
Always
you were
worth
just a
a
lowly
try.
Barbarian.
Oh, yes, a librarian.
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 The journey continues on for a number of hours until the tunnel opens into a vast grotto enclosed in gleaming ice. And Aram, if you wouldn't mind, could you show the necropolis of Eoghan? Consigned to this frozen sepulchre is a fantastic city sculpted by ancient magic. It is illuminated in a haunting way with flickering green and purple light. The city is tilted, I would say at like 40 degrees, like an obscene angle, and its spires lean away from you as if recoiling from your present. You float above a causeway of frost-covered ice that stretches toward the city like a dead, frozen tongue of some hideous behemoth out of whose mouth you've just stepped. And you gaze upon its strange encyclopean wondrousness. In the center is an enormous, multi-towered fortress or building that rises 15 foot high above the disk of the city. Numerous strangely shaped buildings meet your eye and almost hurt it with their unnatural wonder. The buzzing sound increases to almost deafening crescendo and then suddenly stops. And the three casters almost fall over with the change of pace. And I need all of you, including Graham, to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, actually could have those, I think.
I can actually use my correct saving throw, which I've realized I've not used right at any point in this campaign so far.
And don't forget, Virginia, you have advantage.
Oh yeah, no, using that advantage up right now.
I got a 14 plus 3, a 17.
This is gonna be 19 with advantage.
Nice.
I got a 9 plus 6, 15.
I got a 5 plus 1.
No.
That's because you didn't have your
I'll
top
give-
on.
I'll give it,
Should have buttoned
I'll give a
up.
flash of genius and realize that as I see the ship kind of shake and like move, I'm going to knock Graham to the ground because really I think it's more stable just to be on the ground. Like basically dive on him, try to put him on the ground so he doesn't fall off the ship. Or
I'd better roll for Elijah as well, actually.
So you're up to a plus 11.
Oh,
or 11.
no.
Gosh, Elijah. So both Graham and Elijah seem to have this sort of this strange effect on them. It's like they're out of focus. And
Does-
looking at them hurts your eyes. Anyone who
Does my-
failed, so you need to. If anyone else get
So,
below
hold on.
14,
Oh, 14. Oh, fuck. Waste a flash of inspiration on you, Karen.
Sorry.
You're alright. I didn't know. None of us.
and you feel like you're out of step. Everything is out of sync. When someone speaks, they either go faster or slower than they should do. Every step feels off balance. You really
This
don't
is very
feel
disorientating.
well.
Whoa. I don't feel so good.
Does Kestra recognize what's happened to them?
Can you give me an arcana check?
12?
You've heard of events where there's been a serious magical catastrophe, where people take on terrible effects from being out of sync with the weave. This was particularly prevalent during the time of troubles and during the spell plague, but you don't know any more details. And gradually, Graham and Elijah's forms come in sync with each other. And I just want you to remember, Graham, that you failed this check. So if I ask you again, do remind me that you failed.
Can I now wield Elijah as a vorpal weapon?
No.
So
That would be a pretty cool weapon.
It's a meta question, Joe, because I don't think it applies. But lesser restoration removes a condition, but condition is more like blinded, deafened, paralyzed, poison, right?
So Graham and Elijah are currently not under any conditions.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, are you okay, Graham? You don't look too good.
I
By your normal look.
I really feel. I'm like, I was going. Oh God.
You speak whale?
No.
This is amazing. We've returned to the lost city of Ethren. Look there in the center.
And he points this like 1,500 foot tall tower.
There you are, the Tower of Irelarthus. And at its...
Pointing right, you're an orb.
And you realize that you're pointing, Xalfiz.
Oh shit. Okay. Cool.
There you are,
Like this.
at its heart. The Mythalar. We must journey there quickly. Come.
For how advanced you are, it's kind of a dingy looking place. But yes, okay, let's go.
Oh, and I was the one saying primitive is mean. You're just saying this is ugly. I mean, I never called them ugly.
I do wonder what happened to all the inhabitants here. I mean, hopefully some of them managed to survive, although obviously 2,000 years is a long time, but maybe not for Irelarthus. Maybe he'll be in his tower. Although
Gann
maybe
will just take a handful of dirt or sand. Maybe like it's probably the flying ship probably has like sandbags on the side to weigh it down for when it needs to land. He'll take a handful of sand from that, like throw it up above us and cast past it in trays.
It's gonna be dragon poop you're throwing over us.
So yes, we all have pass without the traces cast on us all right now.
Nice.
So plus 10 to dex checks.
Mr. Scant, quick
stealth.
question.
Professor, actually.
Professor, yeah. This Eoghan lich, he's a good lich, right?
I would say those like you and I, whose intellects surpass those of the average mortal, punitive white and black, good and evil, no longer apply to us. There only is knowledge and that which we can apply to improve the lives of everyone. You know, you talk about a single person, what do they matter when such as us can improve the lives of whole civilizations?
I can't say I've ever agreed with that sentiment, but it does feel like smashing this orb might apply. I mean, they got some crazy rhetoric, Professor Scant.
He sort of pauses for a moment and goes,
Oh, well, not everyone has the foresight to agree with what I'm saying, obviously, but Abel Arthas would agree wholeheartedly, I'm sure.
I mean, look, a bit rich with foresight. You did something, didn't see you coming into an orb. Like, let's not call into question people's foresight here, buddy.
I don't want to argue apples and oranges.
Stuff him back in the bag as he's saying apples and oranges. 100%.
Slowly, he's getting the same treatment that Gann gave it eventually, which is just like whenever he's sick, he can shove his pocket. It's like this guy's the worst.
The orb is really pissing me off. Yeah.
I told you, Xalfiz, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
While this is going on, can Kestra move a little bit away on that top deck and grab the sending stone that's around her neck to Avarice?
okay.
And she wants to see if she can contact her.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So you send your thoughts through. What do you wish to say?
I think she just says, are you there? Because we're here and we know where the Mythalar is, but there's something wrong with magic in this place. Also, following a mile behind us, not very subtle.
We'll be there soon. See what you can discover and report back when you've learned more.
Just be careful coming through here. There's something not right. A tear in the weave or something. The Mythalar could be damaged.
Understood. We will proceed with caution. We'll see you soon.
She'll get back to the group and prepare to... I guess we're going down there?
Yep. Like, can I still move, or am I just?
No,
I just feel.
You feel normal now. But as I said, I just want you to remember that you failed.
Okay.
Just to rub it in. You failed.
You are a failure.
And you should feel bad, yeah.
When you were asked to roll above a certain number, you did not achieve that number. Feel bad.
I made sure that when I cast Pass Without a Trace, by the way, that Elijah was included in that, within the radius of the spell.
Mm-hmm.
So right now the airship is hovering on the edge of this enormous cavern. And Elijah turns to you all and goes, right, I could probably fire this thing over there. And if that's what you want me to do, I'm well up for that. But I'm not sure how safe it is. But I'll follow your guidance. What do you think?
Maybe if we stay as out of line of sight of that tower in the middle as possible, or at least any windows on it, if that's where this lich might live.
So that tower that looks like 10 times bigger than anything else in the city that's covered in windows, you want me to stay out of line of sight of that? I mean, I could go under the city if you want me to try that.
Of any windows that we can see that are openly looking in this direction, if there's buildings we could pass behind. I didn't ask for your attitude, Elijah.
Look,
I'm trying to make a suggestion for a game plan.
He's a druid. The closest he seems this is a very big oak. He doesn't get how windows work.
So Elijah comes with additional sprinkling of sass. That's simply the default.
He always has.
I think Kestra jokes, what? You mean in all those upgrades you didn't manage to pay people enough food to fit some kind of invisibility cloak on this? Disappointing.
Funny enough, a whole load of starving villages didn't happen to have a giant invisibility cloak spare, but if they would, I'm sure they would have given it away for a can of tuna.
You're telling me that town had no Klingons?
Right, whatever, I'm going.
Tough crowd. I felt flat reeler. Anyway, let's move on. I'm blushing. Wow.
So, Elijah, what I was saying is, see all those other buildings? Maybe stay behind them so we're not in line of sight of the big tower.
All right, where do you want me to go?
I'll point in a direction.
Oh, just get us low enough to get off this goddamn ship.
Yeah.
I mean,
We should probably
right
go
now
on foot.
So do you wish to go on the airship or do you wish to go on foot?
I think we want to get into the streets and go on foot is kind of what's Xalfiz
Yeah,
getting at.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go.
Sounds like it might be safer.
Yeah, the airship might draw a bit more attention.
Yeah, we got
Also, pass without a trace doesn't
version.
work on an airship.
Yeah, I mean, I said we were given a version of. Are you sure that's what you want to do? You know, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that subtle
down the
Joe
street.
guiding hand.
We could
We're
go
gonna go,
down
lads.
and keep Elijah flying the airship just around the city, because at least then attention's
good,
not
yeah,
on
yeah.
us.
Yeah, we're
Try to
gonna
do
get
some
out.
laps
We're gonna
on
get
it.
out, and he's gonna fly like maybe a quarter of a mile away, and then we're just gonna see a big blast from the tower come out and blow up Elijah. No, the kobold that I, wasn't mad about.
That sassy prick.
So in a map that we can see, do we want to go for the kind of cityscape on the left that has the big branch going up to the tower, or do we want to go for the one on the right that leads directly into the Mittelar?
I say we go straight to the Mythalar.
We know what we're here for.
Cool.
I assume that's where my weird bond with this book city thing is leading me, right?
So your bond has led you here. You no longer feel any connection to it, and the sort of ripped parts of your soul have been returned to you, or at least those of the parts that have survived.
That's not ominous at all.
It's rough. Sounds bad. What does it mean?
I don't know, but don't forget, Kuran, you failed.
I know.
Because Joe is probably going to forget. Because it's not important, right?
It's not important at all.
Oh.
That's why it never
No.
happened.
Anyway, so I guess we'll jump off. I guess just off where the tongue of ice meets the city and make our way towards the Mittelar.
So the Elijah's airship lifts off and begins to float, doing a circumference of this enormous disc. And you walk towards the city. As you approach, the enormous shape of this tower in the center, which has been identified as the Tower of Irolarthas, looms above you. Obviously, the whole city is on this angle, this tilt, but when the first of you step upon it, gravity is adjusted, and suddenly it seems to rest along the plane of the horizontal. Gravity has been adjusted just for you, or at least for the city itself.
Oh, wow. This is an interesting feeling, isn't it?
Creepy, yeah.
And you're going down an escalator and you look directly at the wall across from you, and it's just kind of like
Yeah.
a really weird feeling of vertigo you get.
It's like, ooh. Caverns turn
see-
sideways.
It's a fascinating bell.
To your right, there appears to be a depressed area, maybe 200 feet long and 50 foot wide. And from it, numerous poles, each themselves maybe like 20 or 30 foot high, jut out from it like sort of trees bare of leaves, and arc lightning shoots across them. To your left is a huge gathering of buildings, hundreds of them towering above you, 3, 4, and 5 stories. In the center of them, there is this kind of tendril that reaches down 1,000 foot from the top of the tower, reaching in this arc, this rainbow of stone into the center of this gathering of buildings. Where do you wish to go? Obviously, there is this path, this road, which goes straight ahead, hundreds of feet directly to the tower, beneath which you can see this glowing ball of the Mythalar itself.
So the
I feel
Mythalar is
like-
underneath the tower? Is that?
Guys,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're going to need to look for the spindle and the Mythalar. But I assume whatever is in that tower is going to be of value and knowledge and may help us. So maybe I don't know, do we split up and someone maybe checks out and he points at the kind of tendril bridge and see if we can, maybe we can get to the top of the tower that way, or do all 4 of us go to the Mythalar and deal with that?
I think I can go check on the Mythalar.
I'll
If you
go with
guys
Graham.
wanna, yeah, if you want to see if there's another way into the tower.
Why? I get that the spindle is important, but isn't getting to the Mittelar and breaking the Rime our first and foremost goal here?
Yes, it is, but the spindle caused this city to fail and maybe stops the Mythalar from working.
Plus,
The
if
spindle
something,
came, the Mythalar stopped. It may be a
Yeah.
coincidence. I mean, there's a lot of fairy tales and legends about this place.
but if anything happens to the Mythalar, if we try to use that to break the rhyme before the spindle is set, and this city isn't floating, this city plummets into whatever's beneath it. Water, ice. Who knows? With us on it.
Yeah.
I mean, Gann, it's up to you. Do you want to go as a group to the Mythalar, or do we want to split up?
I'm gonna go meta here because realistically, Gann, he doesn't trust Kestra right now because of the fact that she hid Aravis away and Aravis has been following us the whole time. And he definitely does not trust Graham, who's been walking around with his top off for the last 4 days in negative.
A weird flex, that's all.
Fuck.
Yeah, the reason that you decide is because I don't think Xalfiz is aware or as concerned. He just more wants to get the rhyme to stop. Just fixing my camera, sorry.
Yeah.
It sounds like maybe Kestra and Graham are going to head down this enormous road towards the Mythalar itself, which sort of rests beneath the tower, in this huge open area beneath the tower. And it sounds like Gann and Xalfiz are going to head through these buildings to your left to where this...
But it's Niall's decision or Gunn's.
No, yeah, Gann
you
Gann will go with Xalfiz.
Okay, because I'll just follow if you want to go with them.
Yeah, no. But once we're like out of kind of earshot of the other two, Gann is going to explain. It's like, I mean, I didn't say anything before now in case anything happened, but I think that Graham has a pact with a demon that I unwittingly have also made a pact with.
Okay, cool. My first question is going to be, why would you think that? But you have a very strong reason to believe that. Oh, okay. Why are you now telling me you have a pact with a demon and not like, wait, when? We were only in Brinchand.
When I fell from the white dragon and I died, I was brought back by what I thought might have been Oriel.
Like 2 weeks you've had a pact with him. You've not told me for 2 whole weeks that you're a demon person.
I didn't know then. I thought it was Oriel that had resurrected me, but
wait, hold on. You told me back to Oriel?
You think that's better? Sorry,
I'm not
there,
with you,
but
Graham.
I'm furious right now.
because it didn't seem relevant at the time, and also he's not gonna like tell you because you probably just turn on him like.
This is
There was no
she flies across the sky every
repercussion.
night. We're trying to stop her, and you're like, it's not relevant. I've met that person.
There didn't seem to be any negative repercussions. I didn't feel any different. There was no strings attached, let's say. So I didn't feel like.
No strings attached. This isn't a one-night stand. You've made a pact with what turned out to be a demon, not the evil god of the plane.
Exactly. So that's where the problem is. When I went to see my home, I spoke with one of the gods from outside the Rime, and they explained that.
Hold on.
I didn't say anything in the ship.
Which god? Which god? There's a lot of gods, a lot of demons. There's a lot sticking right now.
My Leaky.
Okay, so you've made a pact with my Leaky.
No, not a pact. She's just a god.
Who you made a pact with then?
Levistus. He's one of the demon lords of hell.
Lord of the
This
Fifth.
is a lot.
And
I told you I had a...
just for the record, it's likely that he knows that I'm telling you all of this right now. The reason I didn't say it before now is in case he tried to act. I don't know if he could take control of Graham. The goddess I spoke to explained that because I'm strong of will, he might not be able to take control of me, but you know Graham as well as I do. You know...
A weak individual.
So that's why I don't know what they're going to do with the Mylathar, but if it's being affected by the spindle, I can only imagine it will be worse being affected by the spindle than it will be without it. So if we can stop whatever's happening with the spindle and get there before they do anything bad. But it's up to you. What do you want to do?
Xalfiz just strolls over like to a little bench and sits down and starts like rubbing the back of his neck. And he's just like hyperventilating. Takes out a small
Takes a
little
paper
aerosol.
bag.
He's
Paper bag out of his pocket.
No, it's like a small little aerosol, like Beck's rescue remedy. Just a little bit of spray lavender into his mouth, trying to calm himself. He's like, this is a lot to process. So, you thought you made a pact with the evil goddess who's controlling the whole Dale. Turned out it was a demon prince of hell, which is better.
Mm-mm.
And then you spoke to a god in the woods where you grew up.
Goddess.
Goddess. I don't want to be offensive in this situation. And she's like, you're super tough. Don't worry about the demon prince.
No, she did not say don't worry about it. The reason I didn't mention anything before now is because I'm still worried about it.
Okay.
But
and Graham, you believe, is also committed to this prince because
have you seen his behavior since the Grimskull or whatever the hell that was called? Was it Grimskull?
Wait a second. Does this mean you both died?
I was at least on the verge.
You said you survived you just flew off the dragon, you said.
Look. Long story short.
More lavender spray.
So, what do you think? Do you think we should go and investigate the spindle, or should we follow those two, but silently see if they do anything?
This is. Well, look. Can I take out the orb?
Sure.
Look. How much of this did you hear?
Just look at this. This neighbourhood has been despoiled. Over there is the Tower of the Arcane, and there's my library. Oh, for God's sake! Oh gosh.
Scant. Look, focus.
Oh no! You focus. Look at that building there.
And there is this enormous building that has been rent asunder.
That's where the faceless ones were stored. They were held there.
Oh God damn it!
We are in big trouble. I suggest we just leave right now. No, we need to get out of here.
That's the least of my worries.
The faceless ones, that's not the least of your worries. You know what these things are? They could be here now. We need to get out of here.
Look, the spindle. I just got a question about the spindle. The spindle is more powerful than the Mythalar?
Hide somewhere, and then I'll tell you about the goddamn spindle in the Nine Hells.
And back in the bag with the orb. Okay, he's no help.
As annoying as he is of these faceless ones, if this city that could float in the sky was afraid of them, then I think we should be afraid of them. Let's hide and then ask that orb more questions.
I think we take the initiative here, and maybe we just trail behind Kestra and Graham and see what they're up to, and just if they find us, we're like, oh, we couldn't get up into the tower, but we don't want them to see us, and see what they're up to.
Okay.
So the first thing we do when we're approaching is stealth, right? With the pass.
We all have plus 10. We all have plus 10.
We all have plus 10 stealth.
I would imagine that we would stealth because we are walking through a weird ancient city. We have no idea what's here.
You do a
I have plus 22 to stealth. What are you talking about?
You already.
So you said you were going to try and follow Graham and Kestra.
You got to find us first, yeah.
So could you both roll for stealth, and let's see if you go on.
Before we go, let me actually just check if I've got two more. I think I have two more infusions left. Can I take out just tear a bit of leather off my water skin and try and infuse it to become boots of elven kind? Is boots cloaks of elven kind? Which is the stealth one?
You tell me, it's your power.
Cloak. There we go. And give one to both myself and Gann.
Sure. Okay.
So we have an advantage on dexterity. You've got a cloak of elven kind.
Ooh, cool.
We have advantage on stealth.
Real quick.
On stealth advantages.
I only got 31, so that's all you got to beat.
So pass that a trace is plus 10, right?
It's plus 10, yeah.
To whatever you have.
Jesus Christ! Advantage on a plus 10 roll.
I have advantage on plus 12.
Okay,
So
so
we all rolling this way?
No. So those two have disappeared in the direction of the Mythalar, and you need to beat 27 on perception or investigation if you want to try and track them.
Oh, also they can't be tracked by anything but magical means. So.
Oh,
Okay,
so you
I
probably
assume
you're
Gann is
shit out
having
of
a
luck.
conversation. I guess we're running away from the face ones up that rainbow concrete thing.
It's basically
trace
there's,
is real.
guard.
there's this huge arch which goes from the center of the neighborhood you're in up hundreds and hundreds of feet to about 2/3 of the way up this tower.
Well, do you want to fly, Xalfiz?
Sorry, you just said that in front of every storm we've ever watched. It's like he pulled out a doobie. We could walk there or fly. Actually,
I was thinking of Aladdin, like he put out his hand, like, do you trust
Do
me?
you trust me?
yeah, look, we'll fly. That sounds like a good idea. Cool.
I will shapeshift into a giant eagle, and yeah, we'll try to kind of fly up on the outside part going up towards, so that even though there is windows all over, yes, even though there's windows around it, try to avoid as many as possible.
Okay, you discover that when you're in your beast-shaped form, wearing this thorned crown, you can communicate with Xalfiz telepathically.
Oh, fuck, that's awesome.
You also discover, Niall Gann can communicate with you when he's in beast form now, because he's got this artifact. When you approach the central tower, you discover a dome of magic surrounding the entire thing, a force field that will not allow anyone to approach within at least 100 feet of it. Do I just smack into it? Thunk into it like a pigeon into a window.
Flies right into it.
He does it a couple of times because he's bird. He doesn't. It takes a while to register.
And then you kind of like, you can Looney Tunes into it and then slide down the side.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like that sound of like just a hand going down a window.
Let's move the camera to Kestra and Graham as you approach the force field along the main, I guess it'd be street through the city. The whole city is covered with this smoky miasma of green and purple. It has no smell, and breathing it in doesn't seem to have any sensation, but the fog obscures sight and gives this sense of unease, which you can't help but feel. And on either side, there's movement, but every time you kind of look, there's nothing there other than the shadows, which seem to be floating or reflecting this sort of drifting fog. As you get closer, you see in the center of this enormous causeway is an enormous tower. And Kestra, being or having knowledge of the arcane, you notice the enormous symbol on the front of it being that of conjuration. Bisecting this tower is this force field which surrounds the enormous central tower, which is this 1,500 foot tall central pillar almost. And around the Tower of Conjuration, you see hands, each one 5 foot in diameter. And I think you've probably seen this cast before. These are Bigby's hands. At least that's what they look like. Ooh. And there's 4 of them floating around near, maybe about 100 foot above you, near the tower's top.
So we have to get past this force field to get to the Mythalar, right?
Yeah. You can see the Mythalar a couple of 100 feet away beneath this enormous tower.
How do we get to it, Kestra?
I don't know, but I'm not going to try and touch that force field, that magic. I suspect that most of this magic is far beyond anything that we can directly counter. Ooh. I have a question, Joe. How much would Kestra know about the ethereal plane? Because it's like a mirror plane, right? It exists in the same space.
You know that walls of force do persist in the ethereal plane.
Okay. Okay, that plan's out the window then.
Is this because you know what it is? Is that what?
The cool nightmare horse thingy statue I have turns into a nightmare, and they can enter and exit the material plane at will, ethereal plane at will. But if this extends into it, then we can't go around it.
Okay.
I've got this asshole orb. You're getting all this cool shit.
Does it look like from where we are that there is an obvious source of this wall of force?
Yeah, like Xalfiz and the Orb of Sass.
Give me a perception check. How far away do you want to stop from the wall of force, by the way? Are you like 5 foot away, or are you 100 foot away? Like, how do you picture it?
It was 5, probably now 100.
Yeah.
Not within touching distance.
I think we're about 200 feet away.
Is it?
Maybe like 20 feet.
Okay.
Far enough back. I've forgotten what I was rolling for now.
No, I have no idea.
Actually, before I do that, am I don't count as... Oh, it'd be Dispel Magic, different spell. Okay. I was rolling to see if there was a source. That was it.
Okay.
Was it perception or investigation?
It'd be perception.
Perception. Okay. I thought you were going to say, I'm just going to cast Dispel Magic. I'm like, what?
No, I don't. I have Counterspell, not Dispel Magic. That's 11.
It doesn't seem to be a source. It disappears off to the left and right and high up in the tower above you. But you can only see the shimmer when it interacts with this fog, and you can't see if it has a source at the top of the tower, or if there's a generator somewhere. You just can't see it anywhere.
Do I see a part of the structure that is scalable away from the force field?
The force field completely encloses the structure.
Okay.
The central tower of Iolathas, yeah.
Yeah. So what about the original? The way that Gann and Xalfiz had gone, that would have been like a scalable way to get to the top of the tower.
There is this like stone arch. I mean, I say arch. It's not the best way of describing it. It must be, I don't know, 30 foot in diameter, and it starts high up on the Tower of Iolathas and then descends down this enormous arch and disappears somewhere amongst the buildings to your left. You have a very good feeling about this force field, Graham. You don't think it can stop you. You don't know why you know that or why you think that, but you just have a very good feeling about it.
You know what, Kestra? I've got a feeling about this. I think I can. Just let me try something. Just watch, right? And I walk forward slowly, and I put my hand out, and I try and touch off the force field.
Which hand do you put forward?
My left hand, because I'm right-handed.
So I asked specifically because you were given a boon, or at least a mark, on one of your hands.
It was my right hand, yeah, not my left.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hand's gone.
The one-handed wonder. No.
So there is a flash, and this flash like arcs across the entire force field, and there is a chance that Gann and Xalfiz see this. So I'd like you both to roll me perception. But when your hand touches it, the force field begins to break. And in around a 5-foot diameter circle, there is a hole in the force field.
Kestra sees this, and with Graham standing there, grabs the back of him and just pushes him through with her. Just like, we're not going to stop and talk about it. We're just going to go.
Right, we're in.
Okay. Did either of you get above 12? Owen or no?
So is it 12 a pass or not?
12 is a pass.
Because I got a 12. I got 7 plus 5.
So then you notice the force field flash for a moment, and the arc seemed to originate in the direction of this sort of great road that cuts the city in two, where Graham and Kestra disappeared to, and it arced around the entire force field.
I always think there's like a ripple of static or electricity goes through the whole force field, is it?
Exactly, yeah. Which originated at the sort of base of the force field around where that road is.
And is it like, so the force field like responding to repair itself, or is it like a weakness, like it might be failed for a second, it echoing out in a ripple?
It's like an electrical flash across the entire thing, which arced around it and then disappeared, but the force field's still there.
I think our friends may have met the force field, or who knows, passed through it. Did you see that?
We can't hear you now.
Yeah, you've muted.
I didn't see anything, but
Weird.
should we go?
You should have. As an eagle. I mean, eagle eyes and all that, but okay.
Oh yeah, I should have had advantage on perception. Ooh,
I don't really get that hint, but anyway. No,
I guess we don't have any other option to.
Should we go check? Yeah, yes, I did see it actually.
Wait,
should we go
we
check?
don't have anything other option unless you have a way of getting through this thing.
Let's go check on the other two. And
just as we're flying down, Joe, can Xalfiz like examine what the force field is? Is it like an elemental force field, just a force barrier? Like what is?
Give me an Arcana roll.
+5, okay. Can do. We rolled a 15.
So you've come across spells like this before. It does seem to be a wall of force, although created with such power and such proportions that you've never heard of anything this big before. I mean, normally, like, they're powerful and they're big, but nothing that can encase, a third of a city.
Cool, okay. That's just what I can... Yeah, my idea doesn't work then. Basically,
not what you wanted to hear.
No,
yeah,
I want to hear no.
I'd like to fly down from where we saw it quickly to see if, either they're okay or if they found a way through.
Yeah, for anyone who's listening, I was thinking about using... I have a spell, Protection from Energy, which allows me to protect from thunder, lightning. So I thought maybe it was something like that,
No, this does seem to be a solid barrier rather than like a prismatic wall, which you can pass through, but it just kills you. So as you descend, you notice these 4 glowing hands, each one 5 foot in diameter, break away from this tower and fly towards you as if to attack.
But do we see anything where we would have hoped to see our allies?
You need to beat Kestra's... I think Kestra had the lowest. You need to beat 27 on perception.
I'm not looking for them. I'm looking for any kind of irregularities in the wall of force.
Oh no, the force field is completely sheer. Like there's no markings, no breaks.
Cool.
And we
God,
can't
I don't
see an
see
originating
anything.
point. No,
Pardon?
there isn't
We
like
don't
an
see a point.
originating point for the force field, or like a transmitter, or
Give me a perception roll.
That's okay. So this time I will make sure to roll with advantage. I got a 19 plus 5, which is 24.
and I got 19, 14 plus 5.
It seems to be originating from the top, 1,500 foot above of the Tower of Viralathas.
Do we go up there?
We got company. These hands are coming to chase us.
Yeah, they're flying after you.
Yeah, I immediately change direction and swoop, just go upwards, just start flying towards the top of the tower.
And I'm going to put out the orb as we're flying just to see if he's still talking about these faceless sets, or if he might have anything helpful to say.
And it appears that Professor Scant has been talking to you the whole time.
You fools, you need to go down. Get to the bottom of that goddamn arch and I can let you in. Come on, please, just...
And then...
and I immediately turn back around.
Over.
I pull the handbrake on the back of Niall and we turn.
Tokyo Drift the Eagle.
We're going to move the camera over to Kestra and Graham, where... beneath this enormous tower, there is, it's almost stood on these legs. It's like the roots of an incredibly big tree. And hidden amongst them, beneath this tower of rock, is this orb. It's 60 foot in diameter and glowing. It looks like a glowing fireball or a sun. and it's stood within this, or held within this pedestal. And you approach.
I approach with my right hand out. Do I feel the heat from it? Is it warm? Is it like...
The heat and power it's giving off, you believe that if you touched it, you would be immediately annihilated.
Right. So that sounds like a challenge. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not.
However,
And Graham died.
You do have items that you've sort of like bonded with, don't you? You both do, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If you wish to try and connect with the Mythalar, I would need an intelligence check. Or if you have Arcana, you can use that.
I would probably attempt intelligence.
I would probably go with Arcana. I think Kestra would turn to Graham though and go, I assume that whatever party you went to, they want this thing, right?
Yeah, well, just momentarily, not permanently or anything.
Right, yeah, of course. It's just, the white tiefling, Avaries, she kind of also wants them. So
Yeah,
we can
she's
share,
like,
right?
yeah, I think so. She's competing with Levitus, though. I don't know if is that smart, do you think?
I mean, I don't think either of us are the people to ask about whether it's smart to make deals with devils.
That's fair.
So Arcana is 15 for me.
So, what did you roll, Kuran?
A 5.
A 5. Oh, yeah, this is way beyond you.
Strong 5.
Yeah, a potent 5.
So most magic items only allow one person to gain control of them. However, Kestra, when you touch upon the Mythalar, you immediately gain attention from something. Something incredibly powerful. And you hear a voice in your head. And it says, "Who are you? Have you come from the Netherese Enclave?" And
No.
Graham, you see Kestra collapse in front of you.
I gotta try and catch her as she falls to be like, holy crap.
And she's awake and she's conscious. But you see descending from above, from the darkness above, a skull. And around the skull are floating these arcane runes that kind of form and disappear and are so intricate it hurts to the eye. And Kestra, you've heard of these things. A lich is the most powerful undead wizard imaginable, but if they fail to load the thing which sustains them with souls, then they descend into a demi-lich. If anything, they are more powerful and more deadly because they have no control, only raw power.
Oh dear God.
And that is what's descending
Fuck you,
towards
wizards
you
of the
right
coast.
now. And I think that is where we will leave today's stream. So thank you so much everyone for watching and listening on the podcast, and thank you everyone for playing. We'll do a very quick sign off and then we will do a quick after game chat as well. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can reach me personally on Twitter at Joe the GM, or you can reach How We Roll Podcast at HWR Podcast. The podcast, both the podcast and the stream have Discord pages, so you can reach Does It Roll and How We Roll communities to our Discord, so please check that out. We have Facebook pages, we have Twitter pages, and we have Patreon, so please do check us out. Kuran, thank you again for playing.
Thank you.
I had no idea how you were going to approach this.
It's nightmare fuel. It's going to be, yeah. What was that thing you're for people listening? Joe put on this, that face mask thing.
Yeah.
What is
I'm
that?
not looking at the screen for that.
If anyone wants to find me, they can find me on Twitter at Kuran_J. That's KURAN_J, or on the How We Roll Discord, or on the Does It Roll Discord. Yeah.
Amazing. Owen, again, thank you so much for playing. I think we're going to hear a lot more from Xalfiz and Gann as you explore the city next session. I'm very interested to know how this ends up. But how can people find more of you?
People can find more of me on the Discord pages, as you've said, with How We Roll and Does It Roll. I also have my own Discord page, which is linked on my Twitter, which is How We Roll Own, which is down there underneath my camera. Owen, for anyone who's listening, is Eoghan. And I'm also on Twitch under How We Roll Own as well. Not streaming quite as much at the moment because my computer kind of half blew up and there's no GPUs in the world. So we're on there about once or twice a week at the moment. But yeah, come over and hang out and just chat. Basically what we do.
Yep.
Amazing. And Niall, again, thank you. I'm really glad we managed to clear up some of the backstory with Gonn's tribe and with Levistus/Oriel and their deal with you after you fell off the dragon. That was I'm really happy we managed to get that police today.
I was unsure about that until now, so thank you for clearing that up, that I've unwittingly made a deal with the devil. That's exciting.
Well, I mean, Aid, is it a devil or a demon? I always get mixed up between the nine hells. And,
it's a demon. He's a devil.
Oh, okay.
He's a devil. He's a devil, and then demons are like...
demons are the abyss. Demons abyss, devils are hells.
Demons are more like creatures and like... Anyway, doesn't matter.
It's lore and chaos, basically.
Yeah.
He's lawful. He's a Lord of the Fifth. He's true to his word.
If they're scheming, if they have a plan,
they're
always a devil.
All out there right now.
He's got the wiki page open in front of him. Yes. Anyway, hi, I'm Niall. I played Gann tonight, and you can find me on the How We Roll Discord or on the Does It Roll Discord. You can also find me on How We Roll Podcast Niall on Twitter, and that's where you can find me. So either tweet or Discord, and you'll be able to get in contact with me.
Amazing. And again, Virginia, thank you again so much for joining us. How can people find more of you?
Thank you for having me. This is so much fun. I'm enjoying this a lot and getting into terrible situations. So you can find me on Twitter at Tabletop Horde and Twitch as well. I'm going to be streaming The Walking Dead on a Monday, 8 p.m. UK. So if you want to see me be super sassy about the apocalypse and people's terrible choices, tune in then. Tuesdays, I'm streaming with a friend of mine, Susie. We're playing some Rainbow Six Siege. And who knows what's going to happen on Friday streams now. But yeah, you can find me on Twitch and Twitter. That's where I hang out most of the time.
Oh, we need to try and get a whole load of us to play Phasmophobia. It's my new love right now.
Oh my god.
I have it downloaded.
Terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
It's so good.
I have it downloaded. I haven't managed to get anyone together to play it yet, but I really, really want to because I suck at scary games.
Oh, definitely.
I do too.
Some evening this week that can be done.
Let's get a group together. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. But before we start matching our timetables, I want to say a huge thank you to Aram. Again, Aram, thank you so much for doing all the music and production and for playing Levistus, Lord of the Fifth.
Yeah. It's always fun to play someone that has all the knowledge and.
That's the best question.
When has you muted?
I can hear you guys.
We can hear you.
Yeah. So it is really nice to be able to play a character that can just kind of drop in and be atmospheric and bitchy, because really that's my wheelhouse. And then I can just kick it back out. But it's just I have like a list of things that my character wants to talk about, a list of needs, and then it's easy. It's done. I love it. I can focus on everything else.
But again, because I only gave you a few bits, so I love how you run with it. So I'm really pleased with that. And we will be back next week with the exciting finale of Rime with the Frost Maiden. But don't go anywhere yet, because we have in a moment our post show where we will answer any of your questions and we'll talk through our own kind of thoughts over today's session and what might come next. So I'm going to hand over to Owen.
Thank you very much, Joe. Holy crap, a lot went on in that episode. We kind of did more of a recap and kind of setting our stall out for, I guess, the penultimate and ultimate episode at the start. And we kind of started off with Virginia and Kuran going off to some nefarious like Star Wars cantina style demon hell. That's the vibe I got. Like,
yeah, like Jabba's palace.
that's how it just didn't feel great. Like, how do you guys feel now? Do you feel like the bad guys? Out of curiosity.
Not really, no. I think it's kind of like we have good intentions. We're just going about it in a nefarious way. Maybe that's one way to look at it.
I mean, Kestra made some kind of pact with the devil long before this anyway, so she's not judging Graham. She's like,
This is her
okay, well,
wheelhouse.
that's what you've done. I guess you're some kind of champion now. Enjoy your party. she wants to get paid. That's what she does. She is a bounty hunter, and this is just another job.
Another job.
We're all marks.
I made the decision
she
to do the pact off the back of... Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, she doesn't want to get anyone killed. Like, she was quite happy to show up and, way back when and stop them all walking into a town that was, being burned. So it's not like she's just completely using them, but, they're friends and they're also convenient for her getting paid.
I don't know about you, Niall, but she doesn't want to get anyone killed. Doesn't sound as reassuring as I think Virginia thinks it is. It's like, hey, I don't mind you getting maimed a little bit, but like, you won't die.
Yeah, if they get hurt, it's fine. But like, if they die, I would feel kind of a little bit bad.
But I was saying, I got in. The reason why I even went into a pact was because I believe what happened is Joe was like, "Do you want to go up the mountain?" Or do you want to go do something else? I was like, I'll go do something else. Okay, you're dead. And then he was like, there's a demon who's like, I can bring you back. And I was like, okay, I guess. I'm going
to repeat what I've said numerous times. What part of trial do you not understand? Failing it is not a good thing.
You live in the UK. No trial kills people.
Yeah, I'm just living out my dream right now.
I just want to point out, Kestra did go up the mountain. So despite the fact that, she is kind of being a bit backstabby because she wants to get paid, she also did help everybody get to the point of cracking the glacier open at possibly the expense of bits of her soul. So it's not entirely self-serving. She's only like 50% selfish.
And it's not just like he saved you, Karen. You also seem to have got a boyfriend out of the whole experience. We went full 90s like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and antagonist with the kiss on the back of the hand. Like,
yeah,
that's good for you,
And I was all like, "Oh, this gotta suck. You're all stuck in the ice." And
that's just me. Any character I play is going to be a little bit gay. That's just how it's going to be.
It was good though.
It was very sexy. It was very sexy. A bit extra.
I like that Kevin was just chilling there and he was like, "Yo," and Curran walked by. Graham walked by. I mean, like, we also have to remember, we do have backup. Whether or not they see themselves as backup, we do have a Chartling Dragon and a bunch of other idiots who are probably going to throw themselves in here and try to backstab us immediately, but...
I'm sure a
very
whole
backstab you.
It feels very Tarantino movie. It's going to get to the end when there's 5 or 6 different factions going for the one MacGuffin, and it's going to be a Mexican standoff. It feels like.
Yeah, it's going to be like the 5 armies, only like not forgettable.
I do have one question. When you were making your little deal with your boyfriend, Kern, and you went and said, or he said something along the lines of, "We have to stop hell freezing over," and you're like, "Okay." I was like, "Wait, why is hell freezing over a bad thing? Why would mortals not want it to freeze over?" Why is that?
As far as I understand it, the fifth circle of hell or whatever is frozen. It's a frozen plane, so
yeah.
But I don't know.
Probably frozen for a good reason.
Yeah.
To hold some evil bastard in place.
I'm just saying,
you see a good reason.
If hell freezes over, right, and we all know that the inhabitants of hell like it warm, where do you think they're going to go?
I don't know.
Between that and the celestial plane.
They'll probably freeze there. Sorry, Owen, we were talking about hell already. I don't know
yeah. So I think they're already there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the temporary fifth plane of hell.
So yeah, I think from there we cleared up a lot of loose ends and backstory with you, Niall, and talking to your unicorn. Is it Malike?
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Maliki.
Maliki. How much of that did you know? Like, how much of it filled in blanks for you? Because I know you know some of your backstory that we haven't heard
Literally,
yet.
all of it was filled in blanks.
Okay.
I knew that my family had gone missing. I didn't know why. I figured when we were on the doing the trials that they might have gone there, but whether it was by their own choice or whether they were brought there. And I figured if we went and explored one of those ice gardens, we would probably have found them. Because I was asking Joe in one of the episodes when we were in the sculpture one versus the one with the actual bodies, did I recognize any of the corpses? But I did not, because it was just the wrong garden. As for the speaking and communing with the god and finding out that I had actually made a pact with the devil, I didn't know that. Am I muted? Please tell me I'm not muted. No, I'm not.
No, I think everyone's considering.
Owen's camera's frozen, so it made me think like he was like...
Just feels like he's judging you now.
He might just be disconnected, which is why he didn't follow up with the question.
I think
and his silence says it all.
What we did at the beginning of the campaign is we had a brief idea of each character's motivations and some ideas. So the original characters had ideas of how they'd like to progress their character, and some of them were quite explicit and some of them were like, oh, this would be a nice idea. And I think we had a bit of a chat about like the Lost Tribe and how they'd some things with the Frostmaiden. We'd never gone into specifics, and it's something that I've fleshed out, but also you've fleshed out as the campaign's gone on, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that we got to like kind of like confirm where it all is, and also finding out exactly what pact I made, because like when we were on the island, I thought if it was actually Oriel that rescued me, there would have been something that popped up there, and there wasn't. So that made me even more worried about who actually rescued me. And now I know who it is. Our good old friend.
Why did they rescue you?
Exactly. I don't know. That's what Gann doesn't like.
It's weird, right? So like by virtue of their actions or your experience, it's like 100% of your time having spent or interactions with this devil have actually been positive. Just because he's called the devil, you think ill of him. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's really the hero of Rime the Frostmaiden. I think that's the way we need to look at it.
Yeah. Every time we fuck up as players, he brings us back. It's good.
I mean, the person that we've been relying on is fucking Elijah, who's taking advantage of all the poor souls in Bryn Shander.
It's so dark.
And the Professor Orb, Orb, who like literally sacrifices humans for his own fucking longevity.
I think we just have to get Xalfiz to have some interaction with the devil now, because everyone else has.
Or at least a celestial being. I think Owen feels left out at this stage.
Well, Xalfiz got... Oh, crap. What was his name? What was...
Kevin.
Yes, Xalfiz got... Kevin. Xalfiz got a best friend. Best friend who saved his... Yep, we can hear you. A best friend who saved his life by jumping into a Charlatan Dragon. He's not nothing to complain about. He had the best ticket, man.
He's saying you look like...
My friend's leaving me.
What is up with you?
Owen looks like he's at the bottom of a pond with the sunlight shining on him or something.
I was going to say he looks like he's being abducted by aliens and the light is shining.
There's literally no...
He's going to start floating up.
There's literally no light.
Is this the end of E.T.?
Nope.
I don't know what's going on. My camera's gone bad. That's better.
You've never looked more ginger.
I was thinking the same thing and I didn't want to say it, but it's so true.
I'm okay with it. I can actually hear everything you were saying, and I was like, please tell me I'm not muted. I was like, you were just interesting for a change, Niall. That was all.
Thank you.
I'm okay with the not meeting devils, or like I'm sure my comeuppance is coming at some point, but it's not as obvious where it's going to come from, it feels like, compared to other people.
We already had, as we were saying, you already had your Charlatan Dragon.
And he's coming back, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be no links with Kevin. I mean, that huge story thing couldn't come up next episode.
Never. Why would it?
Never.
That would be stupid.
Although Tarantino is a really good one, because I think the way I've managed this is I've just tried to throw loads of stuff in. And there's loads of different factions, there's loads of things to explore, and there's loads of ideas, but I have no idea how it's going to work out. It'll be down to how sort of your intentional and unintentional choices, like by Graham and Kestra sort of marching down straight there. They've separated themselves from the party, and they've ended up fighting a demi-lich. I mean, it's only like challenge rating 18. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fine.
Haven't established the combat yet.
Oh, also, that's fine.
Two of them have been very good at talking their way out of things.
Roll
Combined
for
with-
initiative.
I think what's going to happen is I'm going to roll for initiative, then disengage. Bye-bye. That's the...
I mean,
You have
Wait, but I'm right up close to it. You can sneak attack.
it.
What?
you can sneak attack. She'll tank, she's saying.
I'm
Yeah.
right up close to it. You can get a good stab in.
You're level
Yeah,
9.
we
You can
all
take
got-
on a Debbie Lich.
You've all got cool toys.
Ghost.
Are they super
mean-
susceptible to fire? Because if so, great.
I think they might
You've
be
got your
immune.
nightmare timeshare pony that you can use once a day.
There you go.
It'll be fine. Like, you all got cool items.
Can it
Now
get me in the
that's-
ethereal plane?
I have
Maybe.
this weird feeling that this demi-lich is just going to be like, oh, we've decided to stand and fight it. I'm like, sneak attack. It's like sneeze. I'm like, dead. And then that's the... It's like, whoa,
Oh,
whoa, so-
100%. Kestra's going to sell her soul to it. Like, whatever.
wait.
Is this your big ball of magic? My mistake. Let me just go head back out.
There is, like, I had the idea when we separated out at the end there as well. I'm like, right, I'm going to leave it to Niall to make a decision because I didn't think Xalfiz RP-wise was that concerned. But then I was like, right, we'll go off this way and then we'll have a chat. And I was like, okay, we can now have some fun and then maybe sneak after them. And then you mentioned pass out trace, like, oh no, he's more than invisible. Like Kurt, I have infusions that can reveal invisibility. It wouldn't, like, he's so sneaky, it wouldn't reveal where he's hiding.
Oh god. I should have just dropped the spell, but then it would have fucked the two of us if one of those
Yeah.
Farim, is that what they're called?
Yeah,
Those
they're
babies- oh, yeah.
very cool. They're definitely not. That's not foreshadowed at all. There's definitely not going to be any fair.
Yeah,
No,
No,
they're-
no,
they're-
it's just that one that was locked
Mr.
away in the
Scan.
vault, but it's dead. It's totally dead.
Yeah,
There's no
that's not
Jurassic
there,
Park
no.
shit happening here.
Of course. Why would
There's
there be? And like,
there's a
what was the
poster around
faceless
Tower
one
of
thing, by the way?
yeah.
I mean, we've got a lot to fit into 3 hours next week. To be fair,
Well, it's not too much if we all die straight away. Probably
be
not.
fair, it is very unfair of Wizards to put a Debbie Lich just in this. Oh, you're probably going to be about level 10 at this stage. Oh, let's just put a Debbie Lich in there for you to.
He might be a friendly
What was
Demi.
really cut time?
The Barney of Demi-Liches.
It was forewarned. You did mention that the place was ran by a lich. Like, it's like we
It's
could have
not, yeah,
expected
wasn't.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
I thought
mean-
it would be in the top of the tower, not at the bottom next to the ball of
well-
delicious magics.
Of course, the Demi-Lich is at the bottom where the big magical pretty ball is. Like, but you know, Joe, if you wanted to cut some time
thing is-
next week, we could drop the whole Lich fight thing and just assume we beat it.
Yeah, it's fair
It
enough.
literally says if anyone tries to use the Mythalar, then Iolathas teleports to their location.
Oh crap! So it was nice knowing you, Kestra, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
we
explore the
tried.
rest of the tower. It was fun.
We try. Well, do you know what? You know, you've been brought back, so maybe you'll get brought back, and I have a devil patron, so maybe he'll bring me back, and it'll all be fine.
Yeah,
And they'll bring us back somewhere else, not in this cursed city.
I did have one minor issue when I was supposed to be having the conversation with Levitus.
Levistus.
Levistus, that's it. I keep saying Levitus. Levistus. Then Aram's voice cut out at random points for me, at least. I don't know if it was for the stream.
Discords are lagging.
And I couldn't hear what exactly I was supposed to do, so I just kind of RP'd past that. But
By RP, you mean yes. I will
yeah, I
do
was
it.
like, I'm there.
Sure, I'll do that. What was that again? No, it's fine. So he asked you to use the Mythalar to open a gate to the fifth layer of hell.
You were going to press. He asked you to press the red button. You're current. There was no need for you to know the knowledge. You were going to do it anyway. He just asked you. to do what you do.
Joe is, when he's writing this, he's like, what would it be cool to have Kuran do this time? Let's put this in front of him. You know?
Yeah, and see if he pushes it just randomly.
He's going to get really frustrated one of these days when I'm like, "No, I'm leaving.
You tried that, you died.
I
Open
know,
a door to
right?
hell? No.
It's like, I don't want to do that. You're dead. Okay. Now, next.
What are you going to do?
The greatest moment of Canon came out tonight as well, where Joe decided to stumble over his words and create the Librarian Barbarian as well.
The librarian. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. I was a barbarian before I died. I mean, hang on. Librarian.
Oh, good
I know, I
times.
imagine some of those books are pretty hefty if you drop them on people.
Right?
You're just a nerd thirst trap stuck in an orb, basically.
Just imagine someone like Rise from League of Legends, but doesn't actually have any of the electrical spells. He just goes around with a giant scroll whacking you with it.
I had a teacher like that in school that said giant meter stick and looked like librarian. He's basically that dude. The other thing I learned tonight, which I think is hilarious, is Niall struggles to use escalators, but we all just didn't address it. I don't get that vertical thing on escalators. Does other people get that? Am I a superhero?
There's one particular one here in Vancouver that's like, it's a really, really, really long, steep escalator. And if you look at the wall, like if you turn on it and look directly at the wall, it's like a tile wall just repeating the whole way down. It is the weirdest feeling ever. Like you feel like you're just moving forward. It just
sounds like the London Underground, to be honest.
I'm literally about to say, it sounds like every escalator I've ever been on.
Canary Wharf Station with the really, really tall, steep escalators is like that.
Apparently, I'm a superhero. I've never had this experience in my life at all. I've been on those crazy, like, deep undergrounds as well.
When I went to Hong Kong, they literally have the longest escalator in the world, and it's miles long. And we got on at the beginning and then did the whole thing. It takes like an hour, and you get to the end, and you're like, "What do we do now?" They go back.
My life's
like it's just
over.
a series of lots of escalators. Like it's not really a thing. Like you just stand for an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
You just get back pain. That's all you got from Hong Kong, basically.
It felt like a thing. Like I've done it. And that's the wall of things I've done before. Stood on a really long escalator.
I'm going to ask you guys to give me a hand here. Normally I ask chat for questions, but my whole internet's bugging out for whatever reason. I can't see. My Twitch just won't load for me. So if there's any chat questions I've missed, feel free to throw them out. Otherwise, I think that's all the questions I have. Unless any of you have something you want to ask Joe about the game. Or Joe asked the players, I guess. What we were thinking.
I don't have any, but I'm glad we finally got back to this. It's like with every other week, something's come up. So it's nice to be back on this. And I actually really enjoyed tonight.
Actually, maybe the Xalfiz RP was a bit much. I didn't know what. I was like, in reality, Xalfiz knows none of this, and it does seem outlandish. By the way, I've met this god. It's not a god, but it's a devil. And then there's a second god.
Over the top at all. It was perfect.
I just want to say that the whole the Vax herbal remedy moment and sitting on the bench thing, I personally identify with, and I love it.
Yeah, I've been there.
I loved Aram's description of your healing cannon from.
Oh yeah, it's just a fucking Purell bottle. That's so like when the healing cannon hits you, it's just this blast of antiseptic gel. It's like, oh, thanks. You have to rub it in for the next 20 minutes.
Like, plus 5 HP.
Why is it greasy?
It stings all the cuts.
Oh, it's miserable, but it helps, I guess. Yeah.
Just stinging means it's working. That's what you're always told as a kid, right? That means it's healing.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the bad stinging.
I never understood that thing they used to do in primary schools where they'd add a bit of milk to the Dettol, mix it around and make it milky or something.
What?
No,
what?
That's no. I can tell you what you're talking about. You don't add milk. When you add Dettol to water, which makes it a milder disinfectant, stings less, it goes milky. So when you're a kid, you see something and you just you put the logic there, and then as an adult, you never realized because what you just said was mental. But when it's the same as like. we used to clean with disinfectant in the pool that I worked at, and that's how I know what happens when you put that all into water. But yeah, it's like
until that moment in your life, you thought the same thing as I was thinking right now. Is that what's going on?
No, but I was like, I first thought this is mental. I was like, no, I'm not gonna let my friend just embarrass himself on the internet like this. It was Niall, maybe.
Point out how stupid he is.
You know how the internet is with judging people on their knowledge of antiseptics.
Oh god.
That's nice. When I was a kid, I remember coming home with a massive cut, and my dad was like, "Right, the TCP, the worst shit ever." I'd have preferred Dettol mixed with milk or water. Either of those would have been better.
Yeah, TCP was my childhood. Or bloody iodine from my grandparents.
Oh god.
Iodine's okay.
I assume TCP is the same thing. It gives you the same stain and it hurts. Like
iodine was TCP was yellow.
Yeah,
you could cauterize a wound with a hot poker. It'd be the same as TCP. It would smell
Germaline
better.
is what I think I was given. It's always that.
You put that in your cereal, did you?
Yep.
with milk.
Yeah.
No. The milk was strictly for the Dettol.
the weirdest
I
thing I've
only
ever
ever
heard
saw
of.
I only saw the milky Dettol in school. This is why I was like really confused by it. I was like, why does your Dettol look weird?
It's like the thing I have is, you know,
the same as the dead hell I put in my milk. What is it?
Exactly. Yeah.
well, some things I have, and I've always had since I was a kid. You know, play it by ear, as in we'll make the plan as we go along.
Yeah.
When I heard as a kid, it was play it by year, meaning as time passes. In my mind, meaning as time passes, we'll make a decision. And it was only when I was with Breed, probably 10 years, she's like, "Are you saying play it by year?" I was like, "Yeah, like time passes, you make a decision." And she's like, "No, it's after music." I was like, "Oh, okay." I'd never been called out in it. That was the way.
My dad lied to me as a child and told me that mince pies actually contained mincemeat, and I believed this until I was about 17.
Does that mean you didn't like them?
I didn't eat them at all because I didn't like the idea of mincemeat with weird spices and fruit and shit.
You're like really sweet meat. What is that?
I don't know, but that's what my dad told me when I was like 6, and I never thought to question him on it. And it wasn't until I was 17 and got offered one and was like, "Oh no," and got asked why. At my house, with my dad present, that he was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "You did this to me."
But it's actually called mincemeat when you make it as well, isn't it?
What I love to believe is like parents sometimes tell their children these little like jokes or lies, and they forget about them. But little do they know, their children believe this for the rest of their life. And then at some stage in their adulthood, they bring it up, and their friends are like, "You're an idiot."
Yeah.
You can see how the logic is there. Like the minute Kuran said milk and death, I was like, "Oh, I know what's happened here." I was like, I can see how an 8-year-old would think there's milk in that because it looks just like milk. So I think that's a natural conclusion of us talking about how dumb we were.
I never saw it regularly. Like I only saw it ever like once because I scratched my knee in school or whatever.
No, you are from Shannon, so they do weird stuff down there. It could be they put milk in.
Yeah, they probably did. They were like, "I've seen it before," and then they were like, "This is how you do it." You're like,
"Not wasting your good water on his head. I'll get the milk."
You can't move for milk in Ireland. We've got a surplus of it. We throw it into everything.
It's actually not even a lie.
No, there's like farmers they produce too much.
There's even alcohol in the milk. You know,
there's farmers that if they produce too much milk, they just have to pour it all out, which is absolutely insanity.
You have a quota, yeah. If you sell it, you pay so much in tax, you lose money. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a worldwide
I used to work in the dairy industry as well. So.
Welcome to Milk Facts.
If there is no questions in chat, which I'm assuming someone has been checking, I think that's
there's no question. People are agreeing. Lyrian said his dad gargles TCP when he has a bad throat, which sounds like torture. Is that like a way of saying like, "Don't you do this to me, throat? If you're gonna make me sore, I'm gonna make you sore."
My grandparents used to make my brother do that when he had tonsillitis. If my parents were away or something, yeah, it's grim. He would just lie about it. It's like his neck would be huge. Like, "I don't have tonsillitis. I don't have tonsillitis. I'm fine. Send me to school, please. Not a TCP."
Itchykin said same here. I don't know if they were saying same here about their dad gargling TCP or if they were saying same here about thinking that mince pies actually had mincemeat in them.
I really hope it's the second one because I feel less bad about having believed that.
I think it might actually be the second one. I think it popped up around the time we were talking about that.
Well, to be fair, it is genuinely called
TCP when he's got a bad throat. Same here, lol. It's like what the what? Everyone's
gargling TCP.
No. Okay, sorry.
No.
But if you go to Tesco and buy the actual filling for a mince pie, it's sold as mincemeat. It is called mincemeat. So I can see like how that charade could keep up.
Yeah.
As opposed to beef. So that's it, I think. Weaving doesn't roll. That was the worst, slowest, weirdest end to a stream. Thank you very much for coming. Join us next week for the penultimate episode where
ultimate.
This was the penultimate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where
I'm not sure we're going to have enough time for what I'm planning.
Somehow we're going to have an ending next week. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we are.
Yeah.
It'll be explosive, I'm sure.
So thank you very much, everyone. Aram, thanks for producing. We'll see you next week, folks.
Take care.
Very much. Bye-bye.